Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brock Beard from lastcar.info. Welcome to another special episode of the Behind the Wall live stream here on this postseason, counting down the last couple of weeks until the NASCAR Cup Series returns for the clash at the Bowman Gray Stadium. And the action that's sure to follow down the stretch here. Hope you all are doing well here. We're going to jump into the race here in just a little bit. But before I do that, we'll go ahead and give you a little bit more context. I want to make sure the audio is working because I know we've had some trouble with that on our last couple of streams here. It seemed like it worked before, so hopefully we're good to go. I'll just keep checking the chat here, and I'll get started on this in a little bit. So what I wanted to do with this one is this is something a little different. I had really, we've done classic race watch-alongs on here. We've looked at the 1990 Daytona 500 during the Cope release. We've looked at some other races that those of you in the Patreon, and big thanks to those of you in the Patreon, patreon.com/lastcaronbrock. We've been able to have people vote on which race they'd like to watch on these streams here too. And we've had some really exciting ones. You've seen Daytona in 1998, not the Dale Earnhardt win in the 500, but the craziness that happened that fall when they ran the 400-mile race there. And so that was a very enjoyable race as well. But this one is a little bit different. This is a race that stands out in my mind as one that wasn't particularly interesting, that it wasn't particularly competitive here. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, why would you want to sit and watch something like that? Well, I know that there's a lot of discussion certainly with this new car and what's been happening in the sport the last few years that has really, kind of made people wonder about the quality of racing and just, how, some races are really viewed as boring. I know myself, I've been very critical, for example, of the races at the new Atlanta track since the reconfiguration out there. But I remember this race in particular stands out because it was back during a time that I think most, including myself, look at it and say, oh, well, that was a time where all the races were great and there were really never any bad races and everything was wonderful. I remember even as a kid, I thought that this particular race was not that entertaining, that it didn't really have that much that was going on at the time. And this is not the 2000 Daytona 500, however, which a lot of people do kind of point at from that era. And it is warranted. It wasn't the greatest 500. I remember I actually fell asleep during part of that watching it back then. So when Mike Joy made reference to, bring your pillow back then compared to the competitiveness of Speed Weeks 2001, of course, before what happened on the final lap of the 500 there, that was a worthy comparison back then. But even the 2000 Daytona 500 had its share of things that happened in it, where you actually did have Johnny Benson nearly pulling off the win. You had a couple of incidents on pit road and on the track, a few other things that were happening, in that race as well. But this race here, this is the June Michigan race in 1999, the Kmart 400. Ken Squire will be part of the call here. This will be a classic CBS broadcast there at a race at Michigan. Michigan's a track I haven't covered yet in person. I'd love to one of these days. But this is a race that even when I was, how old was I back then? I was 16, 17, watching that. It really just didn't stand out to me that much. But the 1999 season, I think itself is very interesting. I know a lot of my videos have talked more about the 2000 season and, of course, now on to 2001. But the 1999 season, for me, at least in my own personal experience, this was really the first season where I really kind of watched the races regularly and watched them in order and really kind of started to understand what it meant to follow a lot of the season storylines. Before this point, before that season, I usually just watched, whatever the big marquee races were, your Bristols, your Talladegas, and so forth. Certainly Sears Point, traveling out there. There were other races that I would remember and other ones that I would see, but maybe some venues I wouldn't be, watching as often. But back around 99, I really kind of made an extra effort to watch the Cup Series regularly. I still didn't watch the Busch Series or Truck Series that often. That was, again, still more occasional. Actually, it wasn't until much more recently that I really watched those more regularly. But that kind of was the experience back then. So I do look fondly on the 1999 season in many ways. for really having some kind of interesting storylines. I mean, among them, Jeff Gordon wins a Daytona 500 in February. This is Tony Stewart's rookie season. You'll see him in the Home Depot machine there back during its first year. Him is Bobby Labonte's teammate. Labonte himself trying to make a bid for the championship. I believe coming into this race, he just won Dover the previous week. But your point leader coming into this event was Dale Jarrett. Jarrett had a solid start to the year, still looking to give Robert Yates his first championship. This is, I believe, the 14th race of the 1999 season. So the championship push hadn't really come into be a factor yet, but he was still positioning himself to be a contender there as well. This also the last year that he was a teammate to Kenny Irwin before his departure to the Sabatas team in the 2000 season. So you'll see some things that are kind of set up in advance. I also think there's a lot of interesting teams in this era. You had a lot more, kind of the smaller teams still kind of mixing it up, and interesting DNQ lists here as well. So I think this will be another one to kind of really, contextualize. But really, within the context of that season, remember, this is also the lead up to when Ray Evernham left Hendrick Motorsports at the end of the year. And ultimately started the Dodge program. Those gears, those wheels may well have been in motion, certainly by this point here. Indeed, despite the fact that Gordon started the year winning an exciting Daytona 500 ahead of Dale Earnhardt, the team was just off that year. They always seem to kind of get in the wrecks that they always seem to miss in the past. Spring race at Talladega coming down the backstretch. Jeff Gordon and Mike Skinner make contact in the grass. Both of them spin out and cause a big pileup down there too. Great rough races at Texas, I believe, as well. Texas was always a struggle for Gordon, as I kind of mentioned, in 500 days as well. So a lot of that was kind of going on behind the scenes at the same time. So, so we'll go ahead and jump into this here in just a moment. Before we do that, I have one more thing I want to share here as well. I want to give a big thank you to one of you viewers out here as well. Rusty sent me a little package here to our post box here this week, and it's actually perfectly timed with this race. So I want to kind of present this, show this to you guys here as well. So I brought this with a really nice note here as well. A look at kind of the merchandising from back in the late 90s. Here we have our hero, Dale Jarrett, and the Quality Care Ford credit machine. And what's interesting with this is like this, it's like a trading card. You got like, it looks like a mobile or something like that. But they looks like about a 43rd scale rendering here of Jarrett's car shown at the bottom. And then the trading card above it here actually has like a little sound chip in it, where apparently it plays a play-by-play of one of his wins. I think it's during the 99 season, because it does have Tony Stewart referenced here on the back as well. I don't know if it's this race or not. Unfortunately, the hitting the button on here, the voice chip doesn't work. I may take this out of the package and see if I could actually get the battery to work, but I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to kind of show here to kind of set the tone. I always like talking about the merchandising aspect of the sport because it kind of gives you an idea of kind of what that was like back then. I'll show you the back of the card here as well, kind of an interesting deal on this as well, kind of showing some other drivers that were featured: Jeff Burton, Gordon, Stewart, all the big names back then. So really cool. So again, thank you, Rusty, for sending this. It's really cool. Again, we may figure out a way to make that card work here as well. And if I do, I'll definitely put that on social media as well. But I wanted to, before I did that, definitely show you this. I like the packaging too. Very, very cool to kind of see that kind of deal there too. So we have that. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the race. I'll have my screen here on this as well. We'll go ahead and switch to the race watch along screen here. We got the chat on here, and we'll jump into this. I'll get the audio kind of adjusted along the way. If it's too loud or too quiet, or if you can't hear me or hear the broadcast, just let me know. And if you have any questions, I'll just be available here in the chat as well, and we will experience together the June Michigan race in 1999. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and let's go get this rolling. Also, the NASCAR Classics stream is what we are seeing, as you can see from here. Definitely make sure to support them. The NASCAR Classics archive is fantastic, and seeing this one here in the best quality than the last time I've watched it is also an experience too. So we'll jump into that. So here we go.
43 cars are ready for the go, and to describe the action today, Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker, and Mike Joy. Thanks, Ken, and hello, everyone. They've been running flat out here at Michigan, wide open. Jeff Gordon's qualifying lap,
Kind of bring it up a little bit here.
186.945 miles an hour, broke his own 4-year-old record. It's his third pole of the season, and the season is wide open. 9 different winners in 13 races.
Oh, Charles Pearson, first start for the Woody Woodpecker car. Good catch.
None of them have ever won the Winston Cup Championship. So I'll turn first to Mr. Wide Open, Buddy Baker. Buddy, 200 miles an hour down the straightaway here.
Well, you get the best of two worlds. You have flatter corners here, only 18 degrees, non-restricted cars that run 200 miles an hour down the front straightaway. It's banked 12 degrees. So you have handling and fast speeds down the straightaway, and that's an ingredient for good racing.
And 2-time national champion Ned Jarrett, we had a lot of rain last night. That gives us a green racetrack. Teams will be worried about that. And also, Ned, fuel mileage always seems to be a
NASCAR man,
factor.
thank you for tuning in too.
Come into play many times here at the Michigan
Yeah,
Speedway
again,
because it's a wide
this
racetrack. It's
one
very smooth,
still sticks in
and
my
it doesn't
craw as
produce a lot of
not
caution
interesting,
play.
but we'll find out if that's the
Last
case.
week, Bobby Labonte won on
I think it's
fuel
interesting
miles
that the
to go
NASCAR
Delaware,
Classics
so all
version
the
is a very
drivers and
brief
the
amount of
teams will have
pre-race.
that in the back of their mind, and they're prepared for it. And yes, the circumstances are grossly different from what they were here yesterday. In their last practice, it was about 90 degrees. The track was slick, but now it rained all night, and it's much cooler today, so a difference in the setup of these race cars, and I'm sure that they've built some adjustments into them.
All right, some of the drivers we'll have an eye on today include Jeff Burton, 3 victories.
Yeah, Charles
already
Peterson,
this
again,
season.
thank you for
He is
mentioning the Woody
second in the
Woodpecker
point
car. Cale
standings, and
Yarborough's
by
team
far,
with
he
Rick
has led
Mast
more
didn't
laps
have
than
sponsorship
anyone
for
else
most of
this
the first part of
And we'll also
99.
keep an eye on Tony
And
Stewart. He's the most
yeah, the Woody
impressive
Woodpecker
rookie
Universal
that I think
Studios
come along
deal
in quite a
came on.
while in the
It was
NASCAR
good catch.
Winston Cup
I didn't remember it
Series.
was
He's
this
currently
race
fifth
that
in
it
the
came on,
point
but it did.
standings and has run very well. He led the most laps last week. Look for him to come from his 28th starting position towards the front today.
Well, I'm going to talk about somebody everybody wants to see win. Bill Elliott, 7-time winner here at Michigan. Hey, he could do it today.
All right, we're a little early with our start because of the threat of rain. So the cars are rolling here at Michigan, and we'll be back with the starting
that's
lineup
why.
and
Okay,
the start of the
See, I didn't remember that it was a hurry up because of weather.
Welcome back to Michigan. It's a cool day. As Ned mentioned, they practiced and qualified in 90-degree temperatures. Today, it's only about 74 degrees. And look at that humidity. You can wring the water out of the air right now. Thunderstorms in the forecast, but it's really warmed up in car and on track over 100 degrees. Let's have a look at the starting lineup. Jeff Gordon, 27th career pole.
Irvin in the
Bernie
pedigree
Irvin,
car.
last year's outside pole sitter in August. On the front row there, Mark Martin and Ken Schrader. Doesn't like this track, but it was good.
Oh, this is the one with the
yesterday.
Austin Powers intro, NASCAR man. Right on.
7-time Michigan winner.
I keep thinking that was the August race, but yeah.
Jarrett, who won his first Winston Cup race here. Row 4, Sterling Marlin looking for his second top 10 finish of the year, and Ward Burton. Row 5,
Silver
Joe
Wolf, yeah,
Nemechek
I agree with the
and
10,
Steve
10, 3,
Hart,
4,
who
5
jumped
car. That's a
6 spots in the
gorgeous
point
machine.
standings in 1 week.
I think they qualify for this
Wally
one. I
Dallenbach,
don't
2 straight top
I don't
10s
think they
here,
DNQ'd for
Kenny
this. I
Irwin.
know they had some struggles.
Rusty Wallace, a 4-time Michigan winner, was strong in practice, and Jeff Burton.
I don't remember
the
that Jeff
leading
Burton
lap leader of the
scheme.
year.
That's a good one.
Row 8, there's
Yeah,
Dale
I remember
Earnhardt,
Rusty's
2-time
Harley
winner of this
Davidson
race,
thing.
and Michael Waltrip. Row 9, Jeremy Mayfield, runner-up at Darlington, and Bobby Labonte won both races here in 95.
Jerry Nadeau in the Harry Melling tribute car. Remember that one very clearly.
Dave Blaney,
Red car with the white numbers. Harry Melling sadly passed away at the Charlotte weekend a couple weeks before this. And for this race, they ran a red version of the blue Dexter's Laboratory scheme. And this is the only race that it ran in. There's actually a dedication to Harry on the rear deck there.
Jimmy Spencer and Rick Mast.
There's the Woody Woodpecker car for Rick Mast. We saw Derek Cope in the Jimmy Dean machine. Probably the best of the Sarah Lee paint jobs.
Provisional starter along with Bobby
Okay, essential scheme for Terry Labonte.
And Kyle Petty took provisionals. So did Brett
There's
Bodine and
Bickle.
Rick
Okay,
Bickle.
good.
And
10, 10,
Loy
3, 4,
Allen,
5
1.7 seconds off the pace.
Loy
He got
Allen
the
Jr.,
final
the
position.
1994
And then that
500
meant
pole
three fellas
sitter.
had to go home.
3 drivers did have to go home. Dave Marcus lost by just 7/1000ths of a second. Hut Strickland, Buckshot Jones could not
rough
get
deal
enough
for
speed here
Dave.
to get in the field.
Still a beautiful field of cars, though. I mean, the Turbine Solutions car, that was the Hollywood video car, the Scott Barber SB3 Motorsports entry Ricky Craven drove. Craven already out by this point here. Loy Allen, among the other drivers that kind of filled the season out. Strickland, who DNQ'd in here, ultimately drove that car, too.
14 Chevrolets, 9 Pontiacs. Ford lead to
Also a rare
manufacturers'
die-cast
championship run
production
right
in
now
Hot
with
Wheels.
6 wins. Let's take a look at the track. It's 2-mile D-shaped oval, 18 degrees in the turns, 12 degrees on front stretch, and 5 degrees on the back straightaway. Watch turn 2.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jamie. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. I'm glad that came in the mail there. Excellent. Yeah, the K Essentials car, Craig. Yeah, that Terry Labonte scheme. That is more obscure. I don't know if that got made in diecast or not, but yeah. Love that starting grid, though. The CBS starting grid was always spot on. Same people did the Daytona 500, of course, still at that time.
Robert Yates Ford running 12th at the start. Jeff Burton,
oh, the NASCAR Rock scheme for Burton. Okay. I don't remember that one very clearly. There's the Melling tribute ahead of Presley there.
Will be the Home Depot camera, and we'll also have Kevin LePage, the TV guide, Star Car.
All righty.
For 400 miles, the green flag waves at Michigan. We're racing.
Look at that crowd. My goodness. Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, tuning in. We are just underway. Ernie Irvin with a great drive off.
Loves the inside of this racetrack and made a good move there. Got on the inside of Jeff Gordon, but Ernie Irvin got it all to himself going into turn 3.
Kenny Schrader having a good run in 4th there in the green car, number 33.
K Essentials did get a diecast. Okay, I didn't know that. Excellent. Just about everything it seemed to back then. Not the Melling tribute. I actually had a custom diecast made of that car.
Kenny Schrader is 5th at the stripe ahead of
got 5 cars trailing the field already.
3 wide down into turn 1. Of course, they get back 2 by 2 as they go through the corner. You don't want to go 3 wide this early before the air pressure builds up in the tires.
3-car breakaway, 5 cars falling back.
Ernie Irvin, second race.
It's like David Green among those trailing.
Las Vegas. Jostling mid-pack.
Here comes. Oh, that was DJ. That's Rusty.
Rusty Wallace on the bottom. Number 2.
Nemechek's blue Bell South car, still such a great scheme.
As the tires get heated,
I like the blue nose version much better than the white nose from '97.
Jared on the outside in 88 right there coming down the front straightaway. You can see right now 3 and 4 wide as they come down towards the start-finish line.
Boy, Joe Nemechek was the man in the middle, and he got squeezed back a couple of rows. He is still in the middle. Look at that blue car with the orange stripe with Michael Waltrip, the 7 up high, and Kenny Irwin, the 28 down low, fighting for 13th spot.
And Jeff Burton getting a run on Dallenbach. Is that Schrader that broke away?
The speedway is wide, so they can do a lot of that double wide and 3 wide racing.
There's Bickle making a move on Spencer.
Right now, for the first time, did they guess right on the setup on a green racetrack?
That's pretty daring going into 3. Wow.
From what he was yesterday. As we look out the windshield of Kenny Irwin's car.
Whoa, Wally.
Oh, here we go.
On the flat part of the racetrack, trying to get by the 99 car, Jeff Burton, down the front straightaway.
Great taste, less filling car there.
They were 4 wide at the start
the rear deck of the Harley Davidson car for Rusty.
This is the kind of racing we saw here in the 70s.
Boy, Burton up too close to the left rear of Rusty.
Yeah, and you can see they are still running side by side as they go down the back straightaway on the outside of Wally.
Just such gorgeous cars.
And then the 28. You can see what the draft does here. They're drafting up on each other. That's actually a turbulence from the
Rusty's car is so stable. I don't know how he could keep that thing pointed while Burton's all over him.
Well, back of the lead. Burton in 12th place. Here's the lead.
Yeah, this is a great race so far. I mean, this is perfect. This is perfectly acceptable, even with the about 6 guys that have completely left the field behind.
That's no show dog. That's his dog, Ryder. He even has his own souvenir cards, and he made an appearance and signed paw prints the other night in Southfield, Michigan. Lots of people showed up to have their dogs meet him.
Speaking of moving up,
there we go. Irvin bringing his dog for the pedigree deal. That's great.
Down the back straightaway, made up about 3 positions down the back straightaway.
They do looking solid there, hanging on in the middle of the pack there.
There have been some changes since we were here last June. The changes are 2 in number. 1, horsepower. The majority of mechanics have found between 10 and 20. Mark Martin takes the lead and found between 12
Ward Burton
and 20
thinking about 3 wide, not quite.
Under the hood. Meanwhile, NASCAR has given these cars more spoiler, more front valence. That hugs the cars closer to the racetrack, and that has made the drivers much more racy. This could be the fastest Michigan 400 we've ever seen, Mike.
Well, good call, Dick.
May well need to be, Dick. Not far away.
Burton and Irvin staying right there.
This area last night, and there's more coming.
Usually with the rainstorms in the area, that makes it really ramps up the intensity in a race. But we'll see if that's the case here. Wow, yeah, those top guys have
like this
completely dusted the rest of the field. Probably about 6 or 7 cars right out front.
Continued battle further back. They are knotted up at 9th spot. That's the 2 of Rusty Wallace and the 40 of Sterling Marlin with a pack behind them. Still 2 and 3 wide.
Willie Allen's still holding up
Jarrett,
the rear.
the point leader and the point runner-up, 99.
Burton getting a run. There we go. Beautiful move. Oh, it's going to open the door for Irwin.
And here comes Kenny Irwin down on the inside. He'll make it 3 wide as well.
Gonna maybe get by. Got Dolan back helping.
Pick up the draft of the cars in front of them coming off of the turn, and they're
masterful move by Burton.
Pointed out earlier that the draft plays a big part.
Actually, looks like the tail end of the field caught up a little bit. Looks like Allen isn't that far back.
Lost a position the last time by. Numbers backgrounded in green, like Dave Blaney there, have gained a spot in the last lap.
Always loved Bill Elliott's paint scheme. The 99 2000 scheme is great.
Dropping back.
He is off the pace just a little bit. He might have got a little bit loose. I don't want to speculate because he is dropping back down the straightaway right now. So something's a little bit of
Hamilton dropping back a bit, 42nd.
To the draft there and follows Jeff Gordon down the back straightaway.
He dropped to 4th place behind Mark.
Yeah, Craig, I believe you are correct. Yep, this should be the one.
Looking for Tony Stewart and the Home Depot camera. Kevin LePage
the TV guide scheme for the 16. I don't know if it was as good as the bright orange Prime Star car from the early in '99 scheme. Not a bad one though, and I like the cross promotions with the different mascots on the hood of the car.
This racing, as good as it is, it's only for 23rd spot.
Decent onboard shot too.
Blaney on his 2nd NASCAR Winston Cup race. First one here at Michigan, of course, and the first one this year. He ran one at Rockingham a few years ago, I believe.
Ralph Shaheen is there.
Yeah, Charles, you're right. Ward Burton got so close to winning so many races that year. Just didn't quite work out till 2000 at Darlington.
Get ready to make adjustments at the first round of pit stops, which should come about lap 50. Also, Dale Jarrett is a little bit loose. So just like
got Ralph Shaheen on pit road. That's good.
Drivers and crews trying to figure out whether or not they guessed right with the rain on the racetrack from last night.
Well, let's talk about tight first off, because that's a little bit of jargon that we use in the pits there. That means that the front end's taken off. That means it won't turn, and you have to back out of throttle. So he's trying to follow cars to make the car a little more loose where the back end.
Oh, you were there, Craig. Oh, well, yeah, you would know better than I would.
Bill
Yeah.
Elliott pulling down on Mark Martin for the lead. Elliott first came to national prominence.
Very true, NASCAR, man. Yeah, such a rough time there for Irvin. And then, of course, yeah, by the time they came back to this track in August, when he had his wreck that ultimately ended his career in Busch Series practice. Very good to mention. If you haven't watched NASCAR Man's video on Ernie Irvin, definitely check it out. Puts that in even greater context.
And Bill Elliott's one of the fastest cars on the speedway, and you can see right now, car working very well. He is using the higher line as Jeff Gordon down on the right-hand side of the screen there.
I mean, there were so many good paint schemes from '98, and I think '99 they just fine-tuned it just that little bit. Like Bill Elliott's car really was so much better. Kind of depart from the '97, '98 scheme. I like that open top 4, the black numbers. Just looks so nice.
Okay, up there in that 2nd groove, but Gordon's is working very
and then
well.
on the 2000 Taurus, it looked even better.
To make the pass.
For 2nd place, defending Winston Cup champion Jeff Gordon. Takes that spot away, but does he? As Elliott fights back on the outside in turn 2.
Bill Elliott says it's nice to be up front again, and the car on the outside there gets a great run down the
Really strung out field, though. Noticing that immediately. You had that 7-car breakaway. Now they're breaking up. Maybe only about 3 or 4 of the leaders.
Turns 3 and 4, where Gordon has been the best on the low side. He does drive.
You got one guy really trailing to the back there.
In front of Elliott, but here he comes back up on the outside.
And surprisingly, Ned, them running side by side has not allowed the cars behind to catch up. Ward Burton has not gained on the 2 of them, nor have Irvin, Schrader, Steve Park, and Jeff Burton.
Expectations for the Clash, Doublebug? I hope it's just a good show. I mean, it's going to be a little different with having the open grass area versus the attenuators, the jersey barriers, like at the LA Clash. Maybe that contributes to better racing. I don't know. I just hope it's a good show. I know that, you know, the fact that it's a historic venue, place that NASCAR did used to run Cup races, that's going to be really nice. And I'm sure it's special for the area. Speaking of which, trackside coverage, we're still figuring that out for this year. We're going to be having some more news on that in a bit. But definitely going to be Sears Point in July. We've already made preparations on that. Excuse me. Phoenix in November, and looking to tack on a couple more in the spring.
Gaining up on them by going to somewhere that you wouldn't think everybody would run. But the minute they go loose, you just follow them right in the slipstream.
Jeff Burton started 14th today. He is up to 7th.
Yeah, Irvin still holding down 5th. He's not too far out. They do 18th, solid run for the Melling team.
They'll certainly have a better chance than when they were racing side by side. They have moved back in on him a little bit, but here comes Gordon again down on the inside.
Well, he's cooled the tires down a couple of laps now, and he's going to make another run at him. Ward Burton's trying to decide, who do I want to go with right now?
As I mentioned, I'm very pleased to say I got a couple of driver interviews done this week. One yesterday, another one on Sunday. That will be for another video that's coming up a little bit later this year. 500 days as soon as I get those transcribed, I'll be kind of focusing on the next episode of 500 Days again, getting that across the finish line. That's kind of what I'm juggling at the moment here. I hope to get some more new stuff for you too. Still have more information on Competitive Edge as well. Some interviews on that have come together.
As well as he is running right now, he says there's still more speed in the car. Luce is fast at Michigan. Mark says,
oh, Duddlebug, I'll definitely be watching Xfinity and Trucks at the Rock. It's going to be great. I'd love to go there if we could, but not going to be the plan this time. But we're kind of looking at something around that time, though, if we could. I'd love to support the event, though, because I think they're going to put on that's going to be a tremendous show. Well, I hope the camera work is going to be up to task for Rockingham.
Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvin. Jeff Burton now up to 6th in front of Kenny Schrader, Steve Park, Kenny Irwin, and 10th is Bobby Labonte. A look from Kevin LePage, the TV guide, star car.
There we go. We got the Bessie Motorsports car. We just saw somebody was just tweeting about Joe Bessie just before the stream here tonight. There's his car with Jeff Bodine behind the wheel.
Welcome back to CBS Sports coverage of the Kmart Michigan 400. Mark Martin in the lead. Bill Elliott, Jeff Gordon, Ward Burton. Fight for second through
yeah,
fourth.
Dalton Reed. That's a good question about Bobby Allison. I do have something in mind for Bobby. It's just I just got a whole stack of things here. Hopefully we'll get through. But I do have something in mind there that does address him on that, because
Irvin and Irwin battle. That's Kenny Irwin moving up.
I'd like to do more like tribute videos here along the way. I mean, unfortunately, we've lost so many. We've lost Bobby. We had Fred Lorenzen recently.
Here comes Labonte and Dale Jarrett.
You know, it's best to just try to get as many of these stories as you can in the meantime. But haven't forgot about Bobby, though. I do have something in the works on him as well.
Reported his car was very loose there at the beginning, but now he's coming back towards the front. But
as we look back for Mark Martin, that is Bill Elliott.
Taking a look on the inside down the back straightaway.
Looking racy there, the McDonald's machine, the drive-through crew.
Go down into turn 3. Bill's a little bit slower through the corner than Mark, but he has a great motor down the straightaway.
Bill Elliott's kind of in a
yeah, Mike Joy, Buddy Baker, and Ned Jarrett in the booth.
A lot of folks feel that I
believe there's a brief appearance by Ken Squires at the very opening as well.
That's kind of where Bill Elliott is right now. Nobody would be disappointed to see him win this race today as he takes the lead from Mark Martin.
Crowd goes wild, but Gordon's right there, and Martin is too.
No, and Jeff Gordon wants to get up there and get those 5 points for leading the lap here. That's very important near the end of the year when you're running for the championship. But Bill Elliott has nothing to do with it right now. He's running very, very well on the high side of the racetrack.
His car, right from the very beginning, Buddy, has worked up there in that second groove, and even while he's leading, he moves up there and said, go ahead and go at it down below me there, fellas. If you think you can pass me and they can't do it. I don't think he was the official leader when he came by the last time, Mike, but he is going to be this time, so he'll get those 5 bonus points for leading the lap.
Elliott sweeps it down low at the start-finish stripe, brings it back up high for the entrance of turn 1.
Squire was the host. That makes sense. Yeah, kind of the Chris Myers role there.
Until the middle of the corner. Here comes Gordon again on the low side.
And Mark Martin has the style that every once in a while.
Loy Allen dropping Jimmy Spencer to last place.
You know, he'll want to see what you're doing to catch him like that. He'll look at what you're doing.
Such a throwback with these different names here.
Third race of 1999 that Bill Elliott has led. 7 of his 40 Winston Cup victories have come here at Michigan.
Head to Miami. Miami would be cool. I'd love to cover that one of these
Elliott's
days.
last win, Darlington, 1994.
See that car in the back of that lead pack there?
Yeah, definitely the field struck out. Only 23 laps into it, caution free.
He's come from 14.
Top 5 cars right there, though. I mean, at least they're pretty evenly matched.
For the lead down between turns 1 and 2.
Season earlier,
Here's
Gordon
Ralph
would just
Shaheen.
dominate everybody with that on the way to that 13-win season.
Mike, and when it comes to Jeff Gordon's
Unless it was
setup,
Mark Martin
Ray Evans
dominating,
told me this
or
morning
Dale
that
Jarrett.
He used a semi-experimental setup for qualifying that worked out pretty good. They were not happy with it at all in the final practice session of the day yesterday. So
Good question, Alex. I have not been to Pocono or Dover. One of these days would be great, but not yet. Last pro went to New Hampshire last year, so kind of put some feelers out there to see how reasonable that would be, because we're kind of looking at doing road trips for a lot of these. Not a big fan of flying and all that these days, so plus we kind of enjoyed just taking our time getting out there.
Of course, the one he would love to lead is the last one.
This will be the first Michigan race, Bowser. I see your comment there as well. Yes, rest in peace, Greg Gumbel as well. He also of the CBS broadcast around this time. Did a fine job there. So the Daytona preliminary events and the 500 itself.
No effort, no muscle to turn the automobile. So they took a car they'd already run 3 times this year.
Here comes
cut
Gordon.
the body off. As Jeff Gordon takes the lead, they cut the body off to try to get him the aerodynamic downforce that would make this car smooth, just the way.
But
Bill
Elliott fighting back.
It looks like it's
an all
worked.
too common sight for that 24 being up there.
In that race car.
And Elliott's keeping the field bunched up.
Jeff Gordon had the lead for a moment. Elliott sweeps back around the high side of turns 1 and 2 to retake it. Mark Martin had a look to the low side in third, and that has allowed the Burton brothers to come right into play, side by side.
If you can remember back at Vegas this year, those two fought it out for first and second right down to the checkered flag. So
yeah, my brother and my dad were on a business trip out that direction. Just kind of decided to go out to New Hampshire while they were out there. But they had a great time. We're definitely going to cover it one of these days. He really enjoyed the track there for sure.
Was Jeremy Mayfield's crew chief.
But I have not been out there yet, but one of these days.
Tremendously. When I think I want a right rear spring, Paul will call me on the radio during practice and say, hey, how about a heavier right front spring? They think alike. They don't have to waste
favorite
a lot of
rarely
time
covered driver from the Pioneer era, Bowser? I mean, good question. If we're talking like the first half of NASCAR's history or right around then.
That is very, very important.
I mean, I think JD kind of falls in that category. Also, Buddy Arrington.
It's good to see him run.
It's fun. If we're going to talk about like
2 by 2 by 2,
like way back,
Bill Elliott,
maybe Rex
Jeff
White.
Gordon,
Some of those other
Mark
personalities
Martin,
there.
teammate, Jeff Burton, both out of Roush Racing. And then Ward Burton has dropped a bit back from that group.
There's definitely any of the independents. I mean, Rex really wasn't an independent that way. He's just the Chevrolet guy for the time there. But just the story doesn't get talked about that much. I think those would be always kind of interesting.
All 3 cars, the first, second,
and Elliott doing a fine job holding Gordon up here. Holding him off and fighting to stay up there as much as he can.
Here comes Gordon again. He got a good run that time.
Gordon is just too determined. Roy Allen back to last place again, almost a lap down. Well, Elliott getting the crossover. Here we go. Fine racing up front. Very nice. I mean, it's strung out, no cautions, but crowd absolutely eating up Elliott going for the lead. Fine job.
It's only lap 28.
They do up to 16th. Good run. Top 5 again, still breaking away.
Absolutely. He'd been working that outside groove all the time. He got him a run there, and he said, hey, this thing will work down the inside.
Jack Smith and Speedy Thompson, those are good choices.
Looking at Mark Martin, look at Jeff Burton. Just
ooh, Martin breathed it. That's going to be costly.
Their teammates, he let him take 3rd spot right there. He said, let's see what you
Ricky
have.
Rudd back in 34th. Rough day for him.
Ward Burton right to him. Bill Davis's Pontiac. So now
Darrell Waltrip in the Travis Carter entry, but before he announced that he was retiring in 2000, that would be till August.
As we look ahead from Jeff Burton, Ward Burton side by side with Mark Martin, not going to get the spot. Single file again.
Yeah, not a lot of hook at the bottom. Definitely more this middle lane here in turns 1 and 2. Seems to be about the same at 3 and 4.
He's running right in the tire tracks of our leader, Jeff Gordon. But the 3rd place car here of Jeff Burton, he takes an entirely different line through the corner.
Yeah, Martin kind of breathed it to let Burton get by there, but still.
4th place battle right here. Mark Martin in the Jack Roush Ford, number 6, and Ward Burton in the Pontiac 22. 2 Pontiacs in the top 10 thus far in the race. 29 of 200 laps complete. Jeff Gordon's crew watching and waiting. They will come to attention when the caution flag flies or somewhere around lap 50.
Alrighty.
At Dover, these cars were getting
Favorite non-regular driver commentator of the 90s? What do you mean by non-regular? You mean like what, they weren't full-time driver? Or I guess if you're excluding like kind of the drivers today that kind of do they're active drivers, like a retired driver. The first came up to mind would be like Wally Dallenbach. I always thought Wally said things, just said it how it was. It was always very good in the booth.
Over 180 miles an hour as they go by the start-finish line.
Yeah, Nick Eggleston. Yeah, Craven had already left for the Midwest Transit team, so yeah, he went Roy Allen in the Scott Barber car. Very early change. I mean, June is usually silly season. I always remember it being more of an August-September thing. But yeah, June, definitely there was something they weren't satisfied with. Rich Bickle is still in the 45. I know that team changed a lot of drivers too.
Yeah, that was gear change time if we ever turned that
Ward Burton just dog it after Mark Martin.
Fourth place, Mark Martin, number 6.
And here comes Jarrett from fifth.
Dale Jarrett, the point leader, right with them. From Dale Jarrett's number 88, the Ford Credit Cab.
Be nice to just ride down the front straightaway and listen.
Doing good, Caddis. Thank you for tuning in. You know, I'm trying to remember what NASCAR Rocks was. You know, I assume it was a concert tour. I don't remember which. Yeah, which bands were involved. I know they did a diecast production that Hot Wheels did, where it would release a diecast and they would have like a little, like, you know, guitar, not full scale of course, but like a little like guitar like emblem or something went with it. Burton was definitely among those because that was ones that Hot Wheels produced.
Tony Stewart's crew looking on as he has come from 28 starts.
Ooh, Stewart with right front damage, looks like.
In these first 37 laps.
Looks like he pushed it in. Was that
career start?
That just seeing things?
He's made a good advance towards the front, Mike, but he's 16.5 seconds behind the leader.
Maybe it's just a tire mark. It looked like it was pushed in. It's not smoking.
Allison, who did it in his 14th career Winston Cup start. Another fellow who won his 14th start, A.J. Foyt.
It's so tricky to cover a lot of the field when it's.
Jeff Gordon started this race from the pole.
Maybe when it's just spread out.
Bill Elliott right now. Elliott, Jeff Burton has stormed through the field. Started 14th. He's running 3rd. Mark Martin in 4th.
Yeah, unfortunately, Buckshot Jones missed the cut in this one, Aqua Ninja. He was among the 3 DNQs, joined by Hut Strickland in the Don Levy car and Dave Marcus. Sadler down to last. Then going for Rookie of the Year, Sadler was for the Wood Brothers.
He's running in 12th. A couple of young fellas having a
the NASCAR Racers cartoon, there you go, there's a different thing. That was separate from the NASCAR Rocks deal. Because NASCAR Racers were promoted at Homestead in the 99. Later this year, so this was back when it was like the next to last race of the year. Looks like Loy Allen lost a lap, perhaps. No, maybe not. Maybe he's just really far back there. Good shot at the back of the field. I like that. You can actually see back to where they're running. Camouflage paint scheme for Ted Musgrave on the Remington car. Very nice scheme.
Rick Mast with new colors. Lots of colors on that 98 this week. Joe Nemechek in it.
This group is about 25 seconds.
NASCAR Rocks America, yeah. I'm afraid I'm going to have to Google that
around this racetrack, so they're over a half a lap behind, but they're having a great race back there.
Side by side still, though. Jeff Burton made about 50 attempts to get by Bill Elliott. Cannot get it done. Bill lets him get all the way by and getting in the corner, and then he powers right back up the side. And this time it looks like Jeff Burton has made the pass.
And Dale
yeah, I see other diecast produced for that.
Jarrett in 4th, Warburton 5th.
Yeah, the NASCAR Rocks America Tour.
And Rusty Wallace. Look how hard they're racing for 30th place.
There's Dave Blaney down on the inside.
A little smoke out of the back of that car. I think he's having trouble, Ned. I noticed he's way off the pace down the straightaway. So Dave Blaney, right at the moment, not running like he'd like.
One of Blaney's first starts in the 93, at least in the Cup Series side.
This year, trying to get
full season in 2000.
New personnel in that organization as we take a look at Dave Blaney there.
His only Winston Cup start came for Stan Hover many years ago. Now he's with the Davis organization.
That's good. That's a good point, Charles. Yeah, I mean, you had the NASCAR Racers cartoon on Fox well before Fox actually covered races. It is interesting to see how that worked out.
There in the red and white car just behind this group.
That's 31st spot.
Oh, you got a NASCAR trivia book? Right on, Bowser. That's a good Christmas gift. Yep, so they've got a trivia there.
he's got a problem with visibility. A car ahead, they think it might be the 7, is losing some fluid. They think it's oil. So Greg said, stay back. Don't do anything right now. When things dry out, you can begin to move up.
Still under green after 42 laps. That's not a good time. You're not going to be able to get that windshield clean.
Problem right now. That's
Not very soon.
car, but they look on the windshield and you see oil that really gets your attention.
There's your lead battle. On the left of your screen is Gordon. Next is Burton, and side by side for third, Jarrett coming up on Bill Elliott.
Well, Dale Jarrett's the fastest car on the racetrack. I'll say it. Ned won't right now, but I will tell you the 88 car is mowing them down right now. He closed in from about 300 yards back on the front 3.
I'll give you a little bit of a clue, buddy. About 15 laps ago, he was 4 seconds behind, and now he's right there with them. So he is running good.
DJ in the 99 season, that championship year, he was just brutally consistent, much like Bobby Labonte would be the next year for Joe Gibbs.
Tony Stewart, Terry Labonte, Kevin LePage, and Wally Dallenbach are the top 20. Here's Dick Berggren.
And Ken Schrader, who you just mentioned in 11th spot, Mike, had started in 4th position. He's having problems with the chassis balance on that race.
Yeah, Caddis, I was looking at the same thing. It seemed like it only showed up in Hot Wheels, but it's strange they wouldn't just cross-promote that with Kyle Petty, because of course they had a Hot Wheels car there.
Running in 4th spot.
But
he's delighted with the way that race car runs. Pit stops will be coming up in another 5 to 8 laps. Elliott's not going to change anything except 4 tires.
Yeah, the little rock guitars came with it. Yeah, I remember those. I didn't really pick up any of those. I didn't really think of it. I mean, a lot of them just kind of had different drivers.
On the lead lap.
I doubt if we'll see many of them go past
Jamie Deloche, yeah, my first race, my first car. If you mean the first car I drove, or first car I owned, more or less, 1988 Toyota Camry, my dad's car, and I took that over when I was driving in, started driving in like middle school, high school. Big boat, big like maroon, dark burgundy car. Great car though. I had it all the way through college. It always had a very comfortable back seat. You know, morning practices. You know, roommates crash out in the back seat there because it'd just be so comfortable. Good car though. It was always a road trip car until we got a minivan years later.
And Steve Park, the 28 and the 1, 2 drivers who were expected to battle for that rookie championship last year until Park had a bad crash at Atlanta.
Dalton Reed, I didn't know that about Billy Hagan, that he owned Camaros at Le Mans. I have been reading Behind the Wall, the book about Billy Hagan's 1991 Cup season. That's kind of the latest thing on my nightstand that I've been reading here. Very interesting stories about him. I'm still very early in it, so I haven't got to all those stories yet, but hopefully it comes up. Burton looking good. Jarrett working on both of them. Here we go. Again, 46 laps in. They are strung out, but the race among the leaders is great. You don't have to have 43 cars running over each other. DJ working on, oh boy, Burton really breathing it. Wow.
He should be able to pull ahead down the backstretch as they normally do. Jeff Burton drops back as Jeremy Mayfield comes into the pits. David Green comes into the pits. Ricky Rudd is coming in.
Rick Mast and Johnny
people pitting early, right? The lead battle's getting tight.
Yeah, I don't believe he wants him to get the 5 points right now. They're going at it.
Gordon's trying everything.
Jarrett's going to try to get that run off the banking maybe here. Well, Gordon still gets to the stripe.
Check that out was Robert Presley, not Benson.
See, that's a good thing too. When you're trying to prevent people from getting the 5 bonus points, you would actually have races up front.
Jeff Gordon's Chevrolet, the defending Winston Cup champion, against the man who is poised to win it, the point leader, Dale Jarrett, side by side for the front spot.
Look at that, Burton, despite breathing the car, he's caught right back up to these two racing side by side.
Elliott Sadler, the rookie in the Wood
Love the foil accents on the side of Rusty's Harley Davidson paint scheme there. Oh, and Jarrett completes the pass there. You got drivers losing a lap there on pit road, Sadler among them.
He does.
Dave Blaney on pit road. All of these are green flag pit stops. The cars that are stopping will cycle a lap down.
Oh, I don't remember I said the year. My first car, 88 Toyota Camry. So if you're thinking of what model, 88 Toyota Camry sedan.
They'll be coming in here very, very quickly. One thing you don't want to do is
yeah, burgundy, dark red color.
If you ran out coming off of turn 4 after
there's Ricky Rudd coming off pit road.
Well, the biggest thing is how fast
David Green about to lose a lap in the Kodiak Chevy for Larry Hedrick's team.
Ryder on the side of Ernie Irvin's car. Really is his dog. Yeah. Ralph Shaheen.
Mike, they're going to make an adjustment.
They put his dog on the uniforms too. Look at that.
36 of Ernie Irvin. They take on all 4 tires on this car. Make the chassis adjustment to the right side, complete the fuel up, and he will be back underway.
Michael Waltrip is in. Kenny Wallace and Jeff Burton, the first of the leaders, makes a stop.
Now the Allman Brothers headline NASCAR rocks. Okay, good catch.
Dale Earnhardt and
good catch,
Kenny
Ash.
Schrader. Bill Stevens.
Jeff
I did not know that. Seriously, it was hard to find information there. I'm sure I pretty much had to go look at newspapers.com if I couldn't find it here.
The crew chief doing double duty. That's Frank, the front tire changer, attacking the left front. 12,000 RPMs in those impact guns, chewing those lug nuts off. 4 tires on the car. Fuel is in, and he's out of the way.
Loy Allen has stopped. Jeffrey Bodine.
Ward Burton there.
The leader, Dale Jarrett, and Bill Elliott coming into pit. Jeff Gordon did not.
Ted Musgrave, Darrell Waltrip, and you're right with Dale Jarrett.
About 15 away.
55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
28.
One crew member getting really in the danger zone. They're trying to grab that tire before Jarrett came in.
The right side of the car. They'll work on that side and get ready to switch around to the other side to take on all 4 tires. Crew comes around to the other side. No chassis adjustments here. Everybody's been talking about making air pressure.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We got 86 viewers here in the chat. You're about quarter distance into the 1999 Kmart 400 in Michigan. Yeah, NASCAR Classics scan of this. Big thanks to them. Definitely support them and make sure keep their bookmark in your archives because they have tremendous stuff there.
In the back of that race car to try to make it handle better. To Ralph.
Dick, here comes the 24, Jeff Gordon down pit road. He's ready, eyeing his pit box. Ray Evernham tells him when to turn the wheel in. They're all set to go. They are planning on taking 4 tires as well here. They have no conversations about chassis adjustments, maybe a minor air adjustment. That's about it. Jeff was a little bit tight.
So absolutely zero margin for error with no cautions. Everybody trying to make green flag stops and also their first round of adjustments. I mean, luckily they had enough practice in qualifying sessions before this, but still, you know.
Mr. Gas Mileage himself, Bobby Labonte, last week's winner at Dover by staying out longer. He has yet to make his pit stop. Didn't see Mike Skinner in.
But Bobby's coming in right now.
So this would be 52 laps for Bobby Labonte. And Ralph Sheen's there. Ralph?
Oh, yes. It's at the NASCAR Classics page, Caddis. I see you're asking about where this is from. So, yeah. No, yeah, happy to host. We're going to be doing, those of you who are in my Patreon, patreon.com/LastCarOnBrock. After this stream, I believe tomorrow, I have a post in there where you're going to be able to vote on what the next watch-along will be. And I'm pretty much just limiting just to stuff here on the Classics page, but, you know, hey, that's pretty much wide open. So that will be the first step where we get to the next one here. Probably squeeze in one more before the season starts here, I think.
14 Winston Cup races this year.
But this one's certainly for tonight. Ooh, is that Lonnie smoking it a little bit, leaving pits?
Stop from Larry McReynolds and crew. And we cycle through the first round of pit stops. We've been caution-free so far at Michigan.
And our race summary after 52 laps, 7 different leaders. Lead changes.
No cautions, nobody in the garage. These are always the challenging ones in the racetrack. Kansas almost turned into this when we were covering it last year until Jimmy's wreck. Just nothing happening in the garage area, just waiting. You got to keep just watching if anybody's having even a minor problem.
Another 40 in the infield, enjoying one of the best Michigan 400s in history thus far. But there's a long way to go. Let's go back to the booth and Mike Joy.
I mean, honestly, long green flag runs. I mean, hey, we're all watching this to see the racing. We're not watching to see the cautions. And I do stand by my statement in my Austin Dillon video. The restarts really aren't racing. Like, I mean, okay, yeah, you can do some crazy stuff. But, I mean, the real racing is once the green flag is out and you're actually at full speed for one thing. And for another, you know, able to kind of, you know, reel in drivers and try to, you know, figure them out.
Good quick pit
stop. And the fact that he stopped about 4 or 5 laps.
You know, we can have a restart every single lap, have a whole series of one-lap races. I don't think that would be more of a much better competition than even something like this that has no caution. But I will still maintain that even as a kid, I saw this one as just being really boring. But even now, with Jarrett leading and maintaining that lead now after the first round of stops, it's been solid. And, you know, we're seeing a good part of the field here. We're seeing other paint schemes through the field. Yeah.
Joe Nemechek Dave Blaney's a lap down, so is Kyle Petty, David
Sir
Green,
Spooney, I
Darrell
love it.
Waltrip,
Yep,
Mike
calling
Skinner,
restarts
Darren
racing is
Cohn,
calling pulling out of your
Rich
driveway
Bickle,
road
Ricky
trip.
Rudd,
Exactly.
Chad Little, Brett
Yeah,
Bodine,
it's a necessary
Bobby
part of
Hamilton,
it,
Elliott Sadler,
but
and
it's
Roy
not,
Allen.
you know, it's not what everybody's
You see
paying
on our
to see.
scoring in the upper left are all
At least it
one lap
shouldn't
down.
be. I mean, I want to see these guys go fast
So
and
the
just
lead lap cars now are scattered
hang
well
on to
through the
these
field.
things.
Ken Schrader just made a move around Jeremy
you got a
Mayfield.
taste of that at the Bristol race. You imagine now, I mean, the worst parts of that Bristol race where the tires were coming apart last year was when the caution came out. You wanted it to stay green and see what would happen. And luckily the second half of the race was like
Sell
that.
more little cars. No, it's for sponsored promotion, but it makes it a little hard to spot from the orange that we're used to.
There's Jeff Burton in the car number 99.
I guess I'm mentioning the purple paint scheme on
Fifth position.
Elliott Sadler's
Elliott
car
is
for
in
this
fourth
race.
position.
That is
They're
unusual,
running.
definitely,
Elliott
especially with the
is
Sitco
almost 5
sponsorship.
seconds behind Burton, just a little
Darrell
over
Waltrip
5
getting lapped here.
seconds behind the leader, Dale Jerry.
Darrell Waltrip there in the 66, already a lap down, running very well.
Yep, the Woody Woodpecker
Let me tell you,
car.
being a lap
Surprised
down
that got
in
made in
the
die
group right now
cast.
is
It's
nothing to be
labeled as a
ashamed of
2000
because
car,
this
but it's
is
definitely the
flying
99
right
Taurus
there.
because that scheme didn't run in 2000. In fact, that team didn't run in 2000. That's what became the Chip McPherson team much later that year.
They had some really fast practice runs this weekend.
See Mike Skinner there in the 31 car.
Skinner's car appeared to come out of the pits without a lot of steam, and I don't know if what may have happened. Maybe it got over revved.
It's Rich Bickle's car back there. Such a distinctive scheme that kind of
quite as quick as he was
like
earlier.
it's like a purplish, pinkish, magenta color. Kind of, I mean, I'm not the best eye for color, but you know, it's like purple but with a lot more red in it. But
well, a lot of people
very
thought
distinctive
Mark Martin was going to
scheme.
be incredibly strong today. After all, 18
It's like a raspberry color. There you go.
Here at Michigan have been a top 10, and he's got 2 wins in his last
Haas
10
Carter
starts.
appearance,
But
exactly.
He's having chassis problems today. After taking on the last set of tires, he said the car was super loose. A couple laps later, he called his pit and said, loose in, tight out. They just can't get it right. They're out.
Dick, while the drivers are burning up the tires on the racetrack, the crew members are burning up the pencils and the calculators here in pit road, figuring out the fuel mileage. Just listen in to Tom.
That Nadeau's car ahead there? I think it is. No, wait, no, it isn't. Because the back of Nadeau's car had the Belling logo on it. That might be the Midwest Transit car. It's like a Chevy. Last year, before they really added the taillight decals. Oh no, that must be Terry Labonte, the K Essentials.
The problem in
Maybe.
the handling in the back of the car that was making it very loose. And by the way, Ward very motivated to do well today. On the side of that
Yeah,
car,
great racing.
Kevin
Exactly,
Hatcher.
Tim. Yeah. I mean, watch the 97
son of one
Southern
of the
500 on
best
this stream,
friends
too.
in
And yeah,
Virginia.
exciting
That man
racing.
recently died
Seeing
in a
Jeff
traffic
Burton try to
accident.
reel in
Ford
Gordon at the
has
end.
dedicated
Or,
this race
who's going to be
to
able
the
to hang
Hatcher
on.
family this weekend.
Very exciting.
Here's a look at Dale
Jerry
Jarrett in the
Nadeau.
middle of Jimmy
There you go.
Spencer and the
I still prefer
75 of
Nadeau.
Ted Musgrave. That's a
Actually spoke with him on Sunday. It was one of the interviews I had, and yeah, he's doing well, which is good to hear. But just looking for something to do. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, some of these drivers in retirement, it's an easier transition. But for Jerry, you know, he's eager to be of help to anybody. And actually, this week, actually now to mention that, just today he should be traveling down to Daytona, helping out one of those ARCA teams for Daytona coming up. So he's very excited about that, which is good. Actually, in fact, in this season, Jerry finished 11th in the Daytona 500 in that beautiful blue Dexter's Lab paint scheme. So that was really cool.
We'll monitor it here for a few laps, but since they've made their pit stops, he has been hanging right in there.
David Green, that white and green car drops to the low side. Joe Nemechek battling.
Ward Burton in the 22 there.
That's the third place car.
Now
Just
Nemechek,
behind him, Bill Elliott. Excuse me, Mike.
Nemechek's 42 is 1 lap down.
Yeah, Nadeau was so good on the intermediate tracks. It seemed like Charlotte, Atlanta, you know, those kind of places. Yeah, just really worked for him.
Ward Burton having a great run here today, sitting there in third place. Bill Elliott in fourth. See, you pull up behind Nemechek and get a draft, and here comes Jeff Burton.
Yeah,
The Cartoon Network Wacky Racing. Yep, and yes, indeed, Death Killer.
Running a much higher line there.
Yeah, Alex, I like that you like the Benson's Cheerio scheme. I always thought that one was kind of almost a little too plain, but it's a nice clean scheme. And in 99, much like, again, a lot of the greatest schemes in 98 were fine-tuned in 99. We mentioned Bill Elliott's scheme. Benson's is another one. They made that kind of blue swoop over the rear of the car. Looked really nice. Looked really nice. I think the 98 scheme was a little too, I don't know, minimal.
Only time it's happened if John Andretti battles Dale Earnhardt for 14th place.
Beautiful scheme on the Andretti car. Saw the tweet that NASCAR man put up yesterday about the art contest to determine the 98 and 97 schemes. I don't think they had it at 99. I don't believe they did. I mean, it almost looks very similar to the 90s. It looks like a kind of a cross between the 97 and the 99 schemes.
Everybody did.
98 schemes. Beautiful car, though. The same paint scheme that Andretti won Martinsville in earlier in this season.
A winner, the International Race of Champions here on Friday. A wild win as he beat his son to the line by 6 inches. And there you see his finishes, though, over the past 5 races here. John Andretti, they've each won a race this year so far. 9 different winners this season.
Yeah, great start to the year with different winners.
Now with Wally Dallenbach.
Yeah, 99 doesn't get as much respect for that as it does like 2001 or some of these other seasons.
Well, that's 8,500, and he is running exactly 200 miles an hour down the front.
And they do very fast at Sears Point till that car broke. Exactly. Saw another video was posted about that recently. That's just always so fresh of a memory, but bittersweet for sure.
Getting in the corner as you pick it up, you scrubbed off a lot of speed.
I don't know what gunner means there, if that's the name of the car.
That race David Pearson won. Buddy Baker was second.
I knew you were going to say that.
We'll be right back with more of the Kmart Michigan 400 on CBS.
Still under green after 67
Waiting
laps.
for the next round of pit stops. There's a lot to do in between pit stops.
Sterling Marlin goes a lap down. Sterling is running in 22nd position.
Yeah, could not find roll bar padding, Tim. Yeah, exactly.
Just went a lap down.
I agree. The 2000 Taurus is better than the 99 one. I don't dislike the 99 Taurus, but the 2000 one with those angrier headlights, it just looks so nice.
He was running prior to the pit stops.
Exactly. And
pretty much all the paint schemes that ran on it look great.
Going a lap down. So there's some good race cars going a lap down right now in Dale Jarrett.
Next car ahead would be Kevin LePage.
How many cars do you have on the lead lap?
Fourth place battle. There's Jeff Burton working. Ward Burton. There's Jeff Burton 99. Bill Elliott 94.
I mean, a race like this, you're just kind of waiting to see if something happens. But everybody's got to keep up the pace. I mean, if it's a torrid pace like this and you're not getting the yellow, you just got to keep right up with them. That's much easier said than done, even with pit stops.
He's another 6 seconds back.
Yeah, he's
so the green flag pit stops and working the race traffic have really spread the front half dozen now. For more on the race runner-up, Jeff Gordon, here's Ralph.
Mike, as you know, Ray Evernham, the man you see on top of the pit box wearing the sunglasses over my shoulder, is one of the most intelligent crew chiefs in the business. He is also Jeff Gordon's crew chief. Now, one of the reasons why they're so successful is they're aggressive, but they're calculated in their aggression. After this last round of pit stops, Ray took a knife to the tires that came off of Jeff's car and cut them open and looked inside the tire to see how the current setup on the race car is affecting the structure and the integrity of the tires that Jeff Gordon has on the car. They looked all up inside to see how the tires are surviving the stresses that this setup is applying to the tires. They were pleased with what they saw. They radioed to Jeff and said, Jeff, the tires are good.
Yeah, Brooksy, this is the boring 400. We were looking at the June Michigan race in 1999. The race that a young me definitely bookmarked and said, man, that one wasn't very good. But 75 laps in, we had about, some solid racing through the up to the first round of pit stops, about 50 laps in. Right before that, Jarrett got the lead. And yeah, now we got
very early in the run, in the first 2 or 3 laps. It might not
we got Jarrett cruising. We'll see.
Laps, but it does. The damage has been done.
Oh man, Gordon has way back.
Have a look here at the gap from first to second. There is Jeff Gordon behind a race leader Dale Jarrett. It's 4.3 seconds.
Jarrett just on an absolute rail.
Look at the distance. And the cars.
And just like that, we're already almost at halfway.
You nose of Jeff Gordon coming in there. He's just behind this group.
So he's got a lot of lap traffic to work through. There it is.
Going into turn 1, Johnny Benson.
Yeah, look at that. That version of the Benson scheme is so much better. That blue accent looks really nice. Really nice. Yeah, a lot of great schemes in 99. I still have my car set from NASCAR Racing 2 that has the 1999 car set. I remember changing the driver names because there's so many driver changes second half of that year.
Right now, he's got a good race car here. This is the same car he had to win the pole for this same event last year. It led 6 laps in that race.
Yeah, I don't believe it's Mike Wallace. It should still be Kenny Wallace in the 55 there, Jarvis. Yeah, I don't think Mike Wallace is in this race, if I remember correctly. But congrats to Mike for landing the ride for the Daytona 500 this year with Carl Long's team. That's very exciting. I know there's people that are raising question marks about that, but hey, you know, the guy wants to do it. Same way I felt when Derek Cope wanted to do it a couple years ago, or when Mark Thompson wanted to do it. Yeah, they want to come back out there. You know, they qualify the car, they get in the show. They absolutely should be there. And congrats to Elio Castroneves for locking up a ride for this year with Trackhouse in the 500, being the new Project 91 entry. That's very exciting.
Car's not bad, but just not good enough to run.
Apparently, we just heard today that he's also going to run the ARCA race.
They won't hit a traffic jam the next time they get out of the pit.
Well, what's going to be interesting is when Jeff Burton catches his brother. The last time that happened, about 35 laps ago, Jeff Burton went underneath Ward and took off.
Yeah, Auto Rocket, you're right. Yeah, Jim Smith did enter the 32 that year in a couple races.
So I'll bet there's been some communication, and let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, now look at this. We are completely strung out, and to the point where if you don't have a leaderboard or a radio, you're gonna have a very hard time figuring out who's running where.
I tell you, he's got to catch him first, but they don't work very well together. They race each other.
The booth's
like
still
Allisons used
very
to.
engaging.
The Allisons used to race each other harder than they did anyone else.
79 of 200 laps, coming up on 160 miles this time by. Of the 400 we'll run today, there's Dale Jarrett, your leader, now by 4.7 seconds.
4.7 seconds. Wow.
8.2 seconds back.
When
Jeff
Jarrett
Burton,
and the Yates
10
team figured it out, they
and
figured
Phil
it
Elliott
out.
Closing up on Jeff Burton, the fifth place car.
Well, we're watching these cars really go at it.
Yeah, the
around
Terry
the
Labonte
racetrack
scheme
here.
is
Let's
nice.
talk about air pressure just
Very
for
nice.
a second. You drop the air pressure about 7
That right
pounds,
front on
and as
Stewart's
it
car
goes
still
up,
doesn't
you
look
get
right
back
to me.
the
And I'm
recommended
surprised they haven't
such
mentioned it.
situation.
Maybe it's
That's
just
why we
dirt.
lower the air pressure, trying to
I mean, it
get
hasn't
better
seemed to
grip
affect
on
the
tires,
car.
because as you put heat into the tire, it will get a little bit harder, and every pound in that tire is equivalent to 50 pounds of spring ratio.
Just another of the tuning tools that the teams have it available to them on pit road. Dale Earnhardt leading Tony Stewart for 14th place. Now they are 30 seconds behind the race leaders. So
Concerns with JJ and Martin Truex. Yeah, I can see that, Jarvis.
The next 15 or so
you know, again, I mean, it may be a difficult challenge for both of them to make the show. Yeah, that fender is definitely messed up on Stewart. It's definitely tweaked upward.
Mark Martin at Michigan.
Interesting.
On CBS Sports. Welcome back to the Kmart Michigan.
Oh, that's an
400.
awesome
Mike
shirt.
Joy with Ned Jarrett and Buddy
That's
Baker.
great.
85 laps, 170.
Going to the track, got to wear the
400
track day
miles are
shirt.
complete. Dale Jarrett leads Jeff Gordon, the point leader, ahead of the defending champion, and Ward Burton's Pontiac in
Yes,
third.
isn't that great? Yeah.
Jeff Burton
I think this
has
is a
not been able to
perfect
get any
exercise
ground on his brother.
in
He is fourth.
I wouldn't say booth etiquette, but just doing your dang job, man. I mean,
Ken Schrader are the top
Mike
10.
Joy's doing a fine job of this. The Ned Jarrett and Buddy Baker, they're just as engaged as ever. You wouldn't want every race to be like this. I get that. And perhaps that did happen in the Gen 6 era, and that's why broadcasting has turned into what it is. You know, but you know, you got to stay engaged. You have to. Because, I mean, anything can happen at any time.
But next Sunday's Father's Day.
It's not Father's Day yet.
And I'm not against them having fun. They were laughing and, you know, and stuff like that along the way. It's because it's not at the distraction of what's happening. You don't feel like they're letting stuff slide by. They're not. They're doing a great job.
Terry Labonte has gone a lap down. He took a provisional starting spot here. Wally Dallenbach, Sterling Marlin, Johnny Benson.
Well, Terry Labonte
Tom Rowan, good point. Yeah, before Dale Earnhardt's paint scheme changed at Indy. I didn't mind the sign hood. I mean, obviously he ran it when he won the Bristol Night race later that month and spun out Terry Labonte. It looked okay. I mean, I would still rank the Oreo paint scheme ahead of it in terms of Earnhardt special paint schemes.
Are you pleased with the gas mileage?
Yeah, the gas mileage seems to be good right now. The car seems to be good. Starting
Cope
to get a
lap
little bit
down
tight up off
35th.
the corner, but all in
Rudd a
all,
lap down
started the race,
38.
I was kind of concerned. Went back to about 11th or 12th. Car got real loose on him, but I guess this is what you got to be here to be fast, you know, so the car doesn't get tight at the end of a long run. So right now everything seems to be going good, but still got a long way to go.
All right, good luck to you, Todd. Dick Bergman.
Sir Spoonie, you don't want the Clint's Cash segments? It is a nice change of pace.
His brother Ernie builds the engines. He is looking on. How is it this thing is running so well today, Ernie?
Well, we've made a lot of changes this year, Dick. You know, we
Yeah,
feel
Bill
like
looking
there were
very nice
positive
in those.
changes, and it's just taken a while to initiate them. And looks like we're getting positive results from it.
He sure is, and right now, although he's at fifth spot, he says there's more.
Oh, you know, that
speed
must
in
be a
car.
Harry Melling
He's gonna
tribute on
try
the
to
rear deck.
change
We
his
miss
line
you,
a little bit. He
Loco.
says the
Very
car runs
nice
better
touch.
when it's leading.
I was wondering
He's
what
trying
that
to
was.
pass some cars.
Bill Elliott said earlier this week, back in the mid-'80s, 1985 when he won all those races. He had to be Jeff Gordon and Ray Evernham combined. He was the crew chief and the driver. But as the sport grew and the more demands are put on a driver's time, you just can't fill both those roles. And the sport has changed. The Elliott team has done a good job of adapting. But things aren't quite
Nadeau's
different
car
than they
again.
were in 1985.
Very nice.
He used to drive for Harry Melling, who owns that number 9 car. Jerry Nadeau is the driver this year. Harry Melling passed
Beautiful
away from a
scheme.
heart attack just a couple of weeks ago, and that car was blue. It's been repainted in Melling red. Benny Parsons tipped
Very nice.
Harry Melling to Bill Elliott, and there is the legend on the back of the number 9 today. Harry will miss you from that team. It was Parsons who suggested Melling sponsor a young Georgia boy named Bill Elliott. Bill and Ernie went up to meet with him, and Bill said he hardly did any of the talking. And the money they got to run 12 races in 1986, about what Bill Elliott gets for 2 two-hour autograph sessions today. But they did well enough that Melling, who was trying to promote his own line of oil pumps and gears, ended up falling in love with the Elliots and with racing. Bought Bill Elliott's father's part of the team and helped lead them to all those wins in a Winston Cup championship.
Yeah, talking about Harry Melling, he was on the side of a race car for 34 wins, so he had a good career with the ownership of cars.
And the Winston
What a
Cup
nice little segment there on the Melling history. Love it.
Best battle on the racetrack right now is Jeremy Mayfield.
See, and there's no reason you can't do that now. Like, you can talk about team's history or different moments in the sport's history. You know, we're on the same continuum. There's not a major break there. Just got to dig a little harder, you know.
They're running about 32 seconds behind the leader.
Beautiful scheme. I love that version of Nadeau's car. I don't buy a lot of custom cars. They can get pretty expensive. But one of the few I did pick up was that one. I think that one, and the person I picked it up from did a fine job.
Up on that car. It happened about lap 12 or 15 right along
and
in that area there.
win a race, you know at this point that a race is over. There we go. Now I talk about the fender.
Towards the right front wheel.
So 91.
So yeah, now they're talking about it. Interesting. I mean, good catch. I'm glad they still caught it there. The damage there on the Stewart car. I mean, they didn't get a very clear shot of it, so it was, I could see how they wouldn't see that immediately, especially on the old TVs.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, it came as no surprise
That's somebody else
that he
coming
blamed
down
a
pit road.
psychiatrist for the murders he committed. The real surprise is the jury bought it. Tonight on 60 Minutes.
Ooh, those are cool uniforms.
Here on 60 Seconds on pit road, Rusty Wallace is in. Bill Stevens.
He is in, and already half of their service is done. They're going 4 tires all around. There'll be no wedge adjustment. They'll fill it with fuel. Remember, on the last pit stop, Mike, he picked up 3 positions. They are hoping to do at least that well this time. Rusty is out and away.
Now his teammate Jeremy Mayfield in at the same time, but will not get off pit road as quickly. Rick Mast is in. Robert Presley making stops. David Green and Ricky Rudd were in 2 laps ago. As early, Rich Bickle is also in.
Most of these drivers did stop short of the 50 lap mark, which would be the 100-mile mark, a little bit earlier.
That's too bad. I haven't really kept track with Cartoon Network's current history there.
See all the different signboards there. That's how you find your pits there. When you're coming in, even though it is reduced speed, just imagine looking down
yes,
there.
Yes, indeed. Good catch, Sir Spoony. Yeah, the Penske 77 team did turn around quite a bit there after the Penske involvement.
5 laps, lap 102 or 103.
I mean, if I remember correctly, I think the big thing with Jasper is overused engines, so it just wasn't quite the same thing.
Not too long ago, so with those new tires on, he's running faster.
Battle for 9th place. Kenny Schrader on the bottom. Ernie Irvin is with him. Here comes John Andretti shooting the gap right through the middle.
There we go. Even fighting lap traffic could be interesting.
4 or 5 cars, they're really going at it. Dale Earnhardt's coming in. He has just gone a lap down. He's coming into the pits.
Just a little bit of information like that when you hear that somebody just got lapped. At least you can frame it in the context of what's happening. Schrader running out there.
On the last round of stops, Schrader
Loy Allen running by himself.
49, so it'll be close to schedule for Schrader.
Mike, when they whip him back and forth like
that, about the halfway point, I imagine.
Fuel, and he felt that he started wiggling it around so the pickup would pick up enough to get in the pit.
Ernie Irvin, the yellow car, and in green.
Yeah, the scheme of this one's a little crazy for the 77, but still.
Stop of the day, we have not had a caution flag.
No, Craig, I agree. Yeah, it hasn't been the most thrilling race, but it's been fine. It's solid. We got a little bit of strategy coming into play here. Some that are stretching the fuel further than others and seeing where that's going to shake out. Kind of want to see how that's going to go. I mean, caution would actually take away from that if you really think about it.
One of the worst is you can burn a piston. That can cost an engine a little bit later on in the race. Schrader doesn't seem to have that problem. The engine sounds just fine. It's going to be a 4-tire.
Always liked how the 33 looked on that car in the Andy Petrie era. It just looked really nice.
Stop, and everybody on pit road is getting ready. It's about to get real busy down here, Mike.
Derek Cope has been in halfway.
I mean, a little bit of a change from the Leo Jackson era, but still nice though.
For leading the halfway lap. Roy Allen was in big shakeup in that team. Ricky Craven, the driver, let go. Stan Meserve, the Oxford Plains Speedway champion, also let go as shop manager, and Roy Allen has stepped in. Ward Burton.
Gosh, I've heard Stan Meserve's name before. I'm trying to remember where it came up.
Here comes Ward Burton. He has been a contender all day long in the Caterpillar car. They are not going to change anything significant on the car other than put 4 tires on it and gas. They are delighted with the way it's running.
You know, Charles, it's a good question. Yeah, that white and yellow deal on the nose. I don't know why that happened either. It does seem a little strange. It kind of distracts. If it was just plain that rocket red, I'm sure it would look great. Jarvis, that'd be Irvin in the 36 car. Who's on 36? Yeah, Irvin in the 36 car. Still for this one. Yeah, wow, that's a lot of damage. I wonder who he ran into. It seemed like that happened really early. He's got a tire mark on the right rear. Yeah, right there.
Casual contact.
Yep, no time to pull it out.
Ricky Rudd, who had pitted earlier,
just got to keep going.
Now, Mark Martin and Steve Park both pitting at the same time. Ricky Rudd has now dropped behind Dale Jarrett.
A solid yellow 77. I agree, 81 Casper. That was a good scheme. The 2001 scheme was very clean looking. I think he got too busy in 02. The 01 scheme looked nice.
Absolutely perfect. So he drove around looking for different lines. Had the crew clock it to try and see which of them was fastest. 4 tires, that'll change everything. A stop in 16.2 seconds. Great stop for Mark Martin.
Kenny Irwin, Kevin LePage are in. Jeff Burton and Bill Elliott come in, running in
there you go, kindergarten 99, Big G. There you go. That makes me feel even older.
The leader's going to come in this time. Mike, as he comes off the turn 4, he dips down.
I think Musgrave coming up pit road the other end there. Yeah, the ether can there for Burton.
Just a few moments ago on the radio, his crew chief Frank Stoddard said, Jeff, let's make the big change. They're going down a couple of more pounds on the right front tire pressure. They're going to make another adjustment on the left side of the car with tire pressure.
Yeah, I'm really liking this NASCAR rock scheme. That's nice. I like that.
All right, here's the big move of the day. Can Dale Jarrett's crew send that car out of the pits as good as it was?
This has always been a nice paint scheme. I was never a Jarrett fan, but I mean, it was always a nice scheme.
They will take on 4 tires. They are not planning on making any chassis adjustments to the car.
Got our card right here.
He's already getting that one set to go now, and Kevin Stimbaris goes to work on the front. Jeff Gordon is in as well, making his change. Dale Jarrett is out. They go to work on Gordon's car. Here to the left side as well.
See Jarrett in just that little bit earlier, and now they got this big gap. That gap just increasing.
And he is underway.
And that puts in perspective how far behind Gordon's going to be.
Those 2 extra laps. He came in on the same lap as Jarrett and Gordon. The reason? Not to let those cars get out with fresh tires and run faster than he could before he came in. So here's Bobby Labonte completing his stop.
And of course, as you pointed out, they did it that first time, so he'd get 5 bonus points for leading a lap.
And they also said they took a spacer out of the left rear, a rubber spacer that goes in between the springs on Jeff Gordon. What that did is take some of the forward bite out of the car so it turned better.
Mike Skinner in for a stop. He had lost a lap just after the first pit stop. Johnny Benson is away after 4 tires.
Oh, that was a little delay on the left front. Or...
Chad Little is in. And the hood is up on Robert Presley.
Uh-oh.
Long stop for Presley. Jeffrey Bodine also getting service.
There you go.
Here's a look.
Pretty crazy.
Robert
it's like
Presley's roof cam.
Rub-on tattoo logo here on the hood of the Presley car.
Jasper Engines and Transmissions cam. And now you see a lot of looking. Wondering, and it's questionable if Presley can get back out into this race. We have not put a car in the garage as yet.
No, we have not.
Well, the 77 of Robert
There's a possibility. Fontana was like this. You'd have mechanical issues. What was it? There was a race at Hemrick, lost a couple laps, and then came back. That was weird. And that pit road is so long, I couldn't even see where he pulled in. or realize that he was there that long.
Have cycled through for the second time.
Yeah.
And we have not yet had a caution flag in the Kmart, Michigan.
Yeah, I like the claw
400.
marks
Dale
too. That's
Jarrett,
pretty
the leader.
cool.
In the Kmart 400 after 106 laps, just past halfway, had 7 leaders, 12 lead
12 lead changes.
And they're racing for a record today, averaging 173 miles an hour, no cautions, when Rusty Wallace set the record. In 1996, there were 2 cautions for debris on the track. They lasted just 8 laps, but it's been all green flag racing all day, and this is the man they're chasing.
They got to show what
Dale
Rusty's
Jarrett
record
in the
was,
number 88.
yeah.
Mike Joy.
Ken, that cycle of pit stops has put a number of other cars 1 lap down, including Kenny Schrader, Tony Stewart, and Dale Earnhardt. Dale Jarrett came in first and is now first. Not much change, no change in the top 5, and you see the pit road times among those.
Yeah, we get in the second half of the race. Yeah, you got cars starting to fall apart here.
Let's explain. That's coming in the pit road and going out the other end. That's not the pit
Darrell
stop
Waltrip coming in.
They're
Tire
in the,
mark on him.
14
Maybe he
second
got into
bracket.
Tony there.
Darrell Waltrip has led 33 races here at Michigan International Speedway. He has won a couple. And now comes in Sterling Marlin, waited until lap 106 to make his second pit stop of the day. Chassis change for Waltrip, who was in at lap 98, so that was only 12 laps ago.
So this is an unscheduled pit stop
Spencer
here.
losing another lap here.
Darrell gets the service and goes back out.
So Ned, it leaves us with 12 cars on the lead lap.
And
Yeah,
12 cars right in front of him.
And Kenny Irwin, yeah, the outside pole man for this race is about to go a lap down in the 36 car there as they go down the back straightaway. If you had to have a perfect car, I'd say that Dale Jarrett has it.
Oh, it's been very, very strong. Kenny Irwin.
I know the story about the second Jasper 55 car, 2003 at Charlotte. You know, I'm not sure. I don't have much information on that. That did come up in my field fillers research when I was talking about teams that didn't come back in 2004. I'm not sure offhand. Was that Jeff? Was it Jeff Foltz that drove that, or was it someone else? I think there was something with it. Sometimes teams enter second cars and just try something different. But other times it's just not possible. Bill Davis was in their situation too. They ran like a 27 car in 2003 and then just didn't bring it back in 04 because they barely could even field 2 cars that year.
Exactly, like John Andretti there in the 43 right now. He does not want to go a lap down, and he's going to fight as hard
There you go,
as he
Wayne.
can.
That's a good memory
Hey,
there.
how do you fight this?
Watch this
He just
grandparents'
turns
house.
left and goes right by him in the middle of the corner.
That's the 11th place car. Martinsville.
It is a weird accent on the nose of the Andretti car. I mean, I guess it's not harmful or anything like that. It doesn't mess up the scheme. It's just a little strange.
Yeah, and they call you and they say the
It
leader's
has a nice.
coming. And
The
like
rest of
you're
the
not
scheme is so
trying or
nice,
something.
especially those blue rims, those dark blue
Ralph.
rims.
Mike, the car of Dale
Everyone's
Jarrett
still
has
running
been
within, what,
fantastic
5
all
laps
day
of the leader?
long, but
7
this
laps
pit
of the leader.
stop,
With Presley
they had a set
last.
of tires on the car that Dale Lazario radioed in and said, I think this set's a little bit tight. We might
Yeah,
be
last
in a
place
bit of a
battle's still
problem
pretty
here."
intense.
The crew has just told them to keep digging. They'll see what happens.
This is
Sometimes
challenging.
when you
I mean,
put the
sometimes,
tires on, they will
certainly
eventually
before people
change
start
and the
getting
track will
lapped,
come
and then at
through
that point you
and the
got
handling
to
of the
watch
car
the
will
lap
get
cars
better.
try to pick them out of
We'll
the
have to
field.
wait
Do
and
it. Trying
see
to do
if
it
the
live
tires
is a
stay
challenge.
tight or if they loosen up
I
a
got good
little bit.
practice on that at
Well, you know,
Kansas
you're
between
exactly right, because
those
the interval
races.
was
Not so much
almost
truck race
9.5
because Ty
seconds,
Majeski
and
had
Jeff
problems right at the
Gordon
beginning.
is only 8 seconds back now.
And if the car is tight,
But
this
even
early
the
after
ARCA
a pit
race
stop,
to an extent,
they'll
and
notice
then
that
the
it
Cup
gets
race.
tighter as it goes on, so that's not good.
Look at the interval. You saw Dale Jarrett, and now you see Jeff Gordon. You see how long around this racetrack 8.4 seconds is to make up.
Well, they're running about between 40 and 40 and a half seconds. So that means that Jeff is about a fifth of a lap behind. There it is.
About the length of the back straightaway. Warburton, 3 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
And you saw Robert Preston's car there right behind Jeff Gordon. So Robert did get whatever was wrong repaired. He's back out on the track, but he is 7 laps down. So all 43 cars still running.
There we go.
13th place.
All
Best
cars
race
still
on the
running.
track.
115 laps in.
Kenny Schrader, Tony
85 to
Stewart,
go.
A couple of ex-open wheelers going at it here.
No overtime rules, so we're just running to the distance.
You see, the top car gets so much better run up off the corner.
Yeah, you're
because
right.
he's
Sprague
not
did get in
binding
the
car up, getting in
60
the center
car.
part of the corner.
And I think he did have the net zero car, too. So think about that between that and the Haas scheme.
That would be for position.
Yep, Wayne, you're right. Yep, Loy Allen started last in the 58 car for Scott Barber. Still running out there with everyone else. Currently 3 laps down in 41st.
The next car that he would catch would be Rich Bickle.
The Turbine Solutions car. Paint scheme is swapped in for Hollywood Video after the first couple races of the year. Hollywood Video car got very little attention. Usually, I think only ran like 5 races or something to start the year off. And it never got a diecast release, which is unfortunate. But the Turbine Solutions car actually did. Hot Wheels actually produced it. There's a couple different versions of that I've seen. I've seen a 24th and a 64th with the pit box, toolbox with it.
2 laps down. These cars are 1 lap down.
Ooh, Andretti running a little high there.
That is the 11th and 12th position.
John Andretti's way up there in the Harry Gant crew, Ben.
That is high.
Here's our Circuit City telemetry on board with Kevin LePage alongside Kyle Petty.
About 6,900 there in the center part of the corner. Now he's accelerating towards the straightaway. You can see the RPMs will really jump up there.
Yeah, good catch, Tim. Yeah, Ned tracking this here with the stopwatch. There was a great idea. You could hear it in the background, especially on this good of a render of it.
They scrub off down to about 155 miles an hour in the middle part of the corner.
One of the most impressive stories here, as far as I'm concerned, is watching this Bill Elliott staying right here in 5th, where he's been for almost 100 miles. He has done so well here the last 2 years, and he's had a 2nd and he's had a 6th. He's continued to sustain his run from this event.
How bleached the nose of Elliott's car is getting from these long runs.
For another tremendous day. He just loves these wide, sweeping corners, and he's taking such advantage of it here. Let's go to Dick Bergman.
Mark Martin has a problem with his race car. He is making an unscheduled pit stop. Apparently, vibration in the left
Spencer on pit road with the hood up.
The car. They are ready to put 4 tires on it. That generally solves that problem. This guy's had 2 DNFs this year. He does not need any more problems. They are doing left side tires only on lap 118 for Mark Martin. One of the contenders to win today. He's gone.
Nicky was in just 17 laps ago, so that is going to cost him a lap. He was running 7th on the lead lap. He will drop off the lead lap with that stop. So a tough break for last year's winner of the Kmart 400.
Well, one thing about a race car, when it's vibrating, it's not going to get better. It's best to come in, have it fixed, and go back out.
He did the smart thing.
Welcome back to the Kmart Michigan 400, where Dale Jarrett leads Jeff Gordon. The rest of this field now just about 10 cars left on the lead.
So Spencer on pit road. I believe at this point he'd already pulled behind the wall.
Buddy, what do you do to catch Dale Jarrett?
Well, a prayer wouldn't hurt, but I would be talking to my crew chief right now saying we have to do something to make our car better than Dale Jarrett. And believe me, there's adjustments.
8 cars on the lead lap.
Near the end of the
with
race.
about 80 to go.
Take them up
78
to
to
Dale
go.
Jarrett, but they better get working on it.
Ned, he just lapped Jeremy Mayfield, the 9th place car. I know he's making you proud as his dad, but come on.
Stepping up the race, isn't he?
He's flying.
Yes, he is. He has it hooked up. And so far this year, they have been criticized for not leading a lot of laps. Not necessarily criticized, but say what's happened to them.
A good catch, Big G. I didn't even think about it being agreement with Finch there. I figured the 09 didn't have that many owner points in 03. But certainly more than a startup team would. So it did seem like it was an unusual number for the Ganassi team to run. They would usually run like 39 or whatever numbers.
Mark Martin's car, and it shouldn't repeat right here. The lug nuts weren't exactly tight on that left rear tire.
Oh, we get some of those
up a little bit. That caused the vibration.
oval-shaped holes there on the rim.
Stop, rear tire carrier Darrell Morrow was run over by the race car. The medics have been here. He has waved off all medical attention. As far as he's concerned, he's going to keep working on the race car. He's not hurt. He's a racer.
Well, that's too bad. I hope everything is okay.
Ooh, yikes, yikes.
That's scary when you see a man go down like that.
Yeah, these guys are great athletes, but when you get your foot run over, that does hurt.
Now, we're talking about what you do to catch Dale Jarrett. Jeff Gordon's doing it.
Yeah, a few laps ago it was 9.1 seconds. Last lap it was 6.8. Now it's 6.6, Ned.
There we go.
He said he wasn't
just
creeping
exactly
up. Right. The 88 car.
Oh, there you go. There's a record. Wow, 166 to 173. Massive difference in speed. As they mentioned, it was 2 debris cautions that 96 race. They do 17th among the 1 lap down cars, one right behind Mark Martin.
The longer they run, the tighter it'll get if it has a tight condition to begin with.
Best race of the track
Just
right
one
now
unscheduled stop, one mistake could be enough to take you out of it, which is the other thing that's compelling with a race like this, admittedly.
Yeah, that has reversed. Finally, Ernie Irvin.
I mean, this is solid. I mean, we're down to almost, it's almost over. I mean, like
Was in front.
You know,
we went away to break just a second ago.
It's
there are 8 cars.
Some races just come and go, and that's
Dale
fine.
Jarrett,
But
Jeff Gordon, the Burton brothers, Bill Elliott,
caution would kind of
Bobby
disrupt
Labonte,
what we
and
have so far, I guess. In this.
Steve Park, Ralph.
Now, Mike, Paul Andrews is a crew chief of Steve Park. Paul, you got your driver in contention once again. How is your car and what is your situation?
Well, leader's really bearing down on us. That's the big situation right now. The leader's real good. Our car's real good. We've been a little snug. It's dragging as the race goes on, but we're real happy with where we are. We definitely can improve from this.
Mike, they've got 3 members down here who have all been crew chiefs before. Steve Meal, Dave Charpentier, and of course Paul Andrews. Quite a brain trust helping out Steve Park.
Park looking for his first career top 10 finish. He has 1 lead lap finish this year, 12th at Darlington. His best career finish, 11th at Dover and Michigan in last year, his rookie season.
Yeah, Steve Park on the ascendancy.
Year, though, injured and was out of about 13 races, so it's good to see Steve Park back. And also, his crew chief was taught by one of the greatest people in racing, I feel like, the late Alan Kwiecki.
Jeff Gordon now coming up on Ernie Irvin, who drops
We
low
have
on
the
the
Rich
racetrack
Bickle
to
car
make the
here
move
again.
to the
Bickle's car
outside
getting a
of
decent
Rich
amount of
Bickle,
shots here.
number 45.
Getting
Bickle
chasing
several
back
laps down.
Irvin into the corner.
Even back there, though, they're trying to stay in some kind of semblance of, you see Jeff Gordon there down the straightaway. This car is really, really fast down the back straightaway.
Gordon's got to kick his way through. He had cut down to 6.9 seconds on the race leader. Tuesday on CBS, why is Jag the fastest growing drama on television? It's not just a show, it's an adventure. Don't miss Jag. Tuesday on CBS, 8 p.m.
Yeah, Paul Andrews going that far back with Steve
Now
Park.
Gordon looks to the high side. Get around Irvin, and that gives Irvin a little distance on John Andretti.
Yeah, but while he was working with those lap cars there, he lost a second to Dale Jarrett being hooked up with the lap traffic there.
None of the top 4 drivers in this race have ever won this race. Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, Jeff or Ward Burton. A lot more NASCAR racing this season on CBS. Of course, we'll be in Daytona the 3rd of July under the lights, and we're going to go trucking for 3 straight weekends. The Milwaukee 200, Saturday, July 3rd. The Federated Auto Parts 250 from Nashville, Saturday, July 10th. And Sunday, July 18th, we'll have the Napa Auto Care 200. Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
There's some throwbacks.
Racing,
Nazareth.
A lot of beating and banging, a lot of excitement, and another thriller this weekend.
They had a good race in Texas on Friday night. Dennis Setzer won his first race of the year in a Dodge. Those Mopars are right in the thick of it this year.
And hi to our buddy Rick Corelli on the mend, a longtime Craftsman Truck Series driver.
Let's watch Dallenbach go down the back straightaway. You can see him coming off turn 2 right now, side by side. Starts to accelerate.
Solid Snake, thank you for your super chat there. Anytime I see the Rainbow Warrior, my heart smiles. Hey there. I'll tell you what, I was not a big Jeff Gordon fan either, but I gotta respect him. He was so tremendous in that car in that era. This was a year that he was a little bit off during the time that Ray Evernham was planning his escape to start the Dodge team. But regardless, the year we win the Daytona 500 at the very least is not a disappointment at all.
Storm clouds on the horizon. There is track chief Roger Penske, who's Penske Corp, owns this, California, the Nazareth Speedway, and other motorsports holdings. He is also a race day spotter for Rusty Wallace. That's why he's got that headset on.
Yeah, I like that they kept the network and the reads too. That is good. At least, I mean, that just kind of does keep it in perspective. I mean, you keep the other graphics involved here too. It would just look weird if you started taking those out.
And these two just keep going at it.
Pair of Pontiacs. Ernie Irvin in the car number 36, the yellow car, and John Andretti in the blue.
Yeah, the Andretti scheme is so nice.
This time
that door number is so perfectly framed by the rest of the paint scheme. Just clear as a bell.
So far, it looks like it's 88's race to win for Dale Jarrett as he continues his efforts up in front. But let's not forget that Michigan is traditionally a fuel mileage track. Remember 96 when it gave Rusty Wallace that win, or for that matter 94 when he won it on fumes. Right now it's all Dale Jarrett, but this is a race of the unexpected.
Big G, I would consider, yes, I'd consider watching a Busch or Truck Series race. Right now I've been doing more NASCAR Classics one just to get like the high quality of these videos. But as we see with Vodie's channel, for example, we saw one video from his channel earlier this break, yeah, I'm open to it.
Ken Rusty Wallace, who held that record, is now just about 4 seconds from going off the lead lap. Dale Jarrett closing in on him, about 3.5 to 4 seconds away. And Wallace is one of the good cars here.
Yeah, that was a great shot that showed the inside of the 88 car, and you could
these
see
unprotected concrete barriers here on both ends.
Just that's kind of giving them a massage there with that side rest there. You hold your foot down so long, it feels good just to rest it every once in a while.
Presley's still in last, now 9 laps down.
Just moving past Bobby Hamilton, who's had a really tough day. He's 3 laps down in the 4 car. There is Rusty, and he's got to put it as far to the floor as it'll go because Jarrett's coming. Kenny Wallace, the 55, just ahead. Have a look back for our race leader. There's Wallace.
He's in some traffic back there, Mike. About 4 seconds behind.
About 4 seconds back, and Rusty, he certainly does not want to go a lap down. Running in 8th place, but hey, listen, right now the way Jarrett's running, he runs up, low, passes cars. He's not having any problem.
Let's check with Dick Berggren.
Well, so far this year, the races have averaged almost 6 cautions per event. We haven't had any yet today, Jack Roush. You got 5 cars in this thing. How does this long green flag stuff affect your strategy?
You know, the race is going pretty much as we expected. 200 laps. Everybody's got their cars tuned up for at least 50 laps. They hope to be able to go in 3 stops. Our cars
it is impressive to see how far back Mike Joy's career goes.
Be fine. We had a wheel come loose on Mark's car. He had to come in 20 laps, 18 laps into the second.
Oh yeah, we'll never have enough time to rewatch them all. Exactly.
Here between the laps 150 and 170, if we can, he can make that up. All the other cars can go on 3 stops. And
Vody uploaded the ARCA race at Rockingham. Well, very nice. The perfect time.
It is indeed a Daryl Morrow who was injured on that stop. Got hit by the lug wrench. He says he's okay, but boy, has he got a limp. To Ralph.
Dick, Robert Yates is the man that owns the cars of Kenny Irwin and our race leader, Dale Jarrett. He also was involved with a race that took place over the last 24 hours, the 24 hours of Le Mans that was contested in Le Mans, France. How did he do that? Well, he built the engines for the Panos entries, which finished 7th and 11th. In fact, the car that ran 7th was up contesting for the win before a transmission problem, and Robert had nothing to do with the transmission. Now, why did he have engines over there? Well, he is working on working the Ford NASCAR cylinder heads onto the engines that the Panos will run in endurance competition. He plans on learning more about horsepower and fuel mileage, which he can then incorporate into his NASCAR program.
Quite a lot of NASCAR technology working its way into other racing series. 142 laps. This is the leader, Dale Jarrett, over Jeff Gordon, the Burton brothers, and Bill Elliott. You're watching NASCAR Winston Cup Racing live on CBS Sports.
I have to admit, I feel a little drowsy at this point here with 47 to go. But again, almost, now we're almost to the finish.
174 mile an hour average, way over the 166 that Rusty Wallace set. But the most interesting statistic of all is no one has dropped out.
There you go. The ultimate last car battle.
43 still running. Robert Presley is on the tail end of the race, 10 laps down, but at this record-breaking pace, no engines are breaking. This is an amazing story of these Winston Cup cars. Back to Mike Joy.
Hell yeah.
Ken, it's going to be a long way for somebody to run to just get 40 Winston Cup points. Now, while we were away, Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield made pit stops, so Wallace falls off the lead lap. And Dick Berggren, can Rusty make it the rest of the way without another stop?
No, he sure can't, Mike. And at this point, other than he and Jeremy, everybody else can with just one more stop. And they knew this morning that they were in trouble on fuel mileage. Robin Pemberton said that they can only go 47 to 48 laps. Like many of the teams here, they declined to detune the engine in order to get better fuel economy. You only pick up a lap or 2 by doing that, and they decided that they could have a better chance of winning the race with power than with fuel economy. But nobody counted on this thing going green all the way.
There you go.
The cards have not played into their hands. They would have taken several caution flags to do that. Elliott Sadler has made his
sometimes
stop,
the gamble just doesn't pay off.
Earnhardt
That is interesting.
Earnhardt 2 laps down. 18th place at the time of his stop. So green flag pit stops have started to cycle now for the 3rd time today now.
They have. This would be a scheduled pit stop for him. We're coming up on the 200 or the 150 lap mark with 50 to go.
What's going on here? Slow stop. Oh, fuel. Taking one time on the fuel. There we go. 51 laps.
And Earnhardt looks like just took on right side tires and a tank of fuel.
Ernie Irvan is in. He gives up that 11th place battle with John Andretti.
Ken Schrader is coming in.
The 75.
Clicking right through it. Nice paint scheme. Very nice. Like the orange accents there, like Hunter's cap color.
They stalled the car. They're trying to get it going.
Ken Schrader, who started 4th today, says Michigan has not been one of his best tracks. There's Ernie Irvan, who started on the outside pole. Came across the line that last lap in 11th. He'll now drop to 2 laps down.
Here comes the Ward Burton car, number 22. He was running in 4th place. And John Andretti, who was running in 10th or 11th along in there with Ernie Irvan coming in.
Tommy Baldwin goes to work on the right rear.
Yeah, just absolutely chewing this field up here under these green flag pit stops.
Tires, Dick Berggren.
Spencer 4 laps down, 41st. Had the hood up earlier, as well as Presley. Presley's still 9 laps down.
Steve Jarrell going to get every drop of gas in it. He does it in 15.28. Whoa! Dynamite pit stop for these guys.
Terry Labonte, Jeffrey Bodine, Jerry Nadeau, Michael Waltrip, Kenny Wallace. And here's Jeff Burton, the 3rd place car, and the 8th place car of Tony Stewart coming in.
And Bill Elliott and Dale Jarrett will be coming in. You heard Todd Perry to tell him this time by to come in. Bill Stevens.
Jeff Burton's crew over the wall. An extra man allowable today because of the heat. He takes that tearaway off the windshield. He'll offer Jeff a cold drink. They're going 4 tires again. They will adjust air pressure. This has been going on all day long. They'll get fuel. This will be the last scheduled pit stop. And they are down and away.
Yeah, I think the Pontiacs still didn't quite have the taillights. Some of them may have. I think Bobby Labonte's did at this point. But the Fords don't have the taillights. You don't see that till like 2000. And the Chevys didn't have them. The Pontiacs, they had like... What that was. They had like these raised bumps on the rear of the Pontiacs that kind of looked like where the taillights were.
Gordon's crew to the left side. Jarrett's crew is done. 18.8 on Dale Jarrett. Jeff Gordon's crew is done, and away goes his machine.
Bobby Labonte is in as well. Bobby Hamilton made a stop. Labonte takes on right side tires, and it looks like he, yes, will get all 4. He's the last car on the lead lap. There is Labonte. Left side's done, and he's away. Sterling Marlin comes in.
Good camera work, too, showing all these pit stops. I like it.
As concerned, this should be the last time that they'll have to stop today.
Yeah, you got the taillight numbers, but you don't have the graphics. 58 there is a good example. You got the black TV panel with the number on the back in the area of where the taillight would be, but no taillight stickers, correct.
Bobby Labonte, Ward, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, and Bill Elliott.
No, 36 has headlight decals. It does. It just blends kind of in it a bit.
Jack, Robert Benfield, and Dennis Ritchie on the front tires. Sean Parker and Daryl Morrow with the rear. Chris Dana with
you got the paint schemes this year without that green ring around the fuel inlets. That'll be interesting. I know a lot of people were wondering about how different the paint schemes would look.
Driver Mark Martin.
So a little bit closer to this.
A little surprised that they changed those left side tires because he came in not too long ago and changed left side, but you got an even match set of tires now.
Yeah, the raised edges, not the decals. Exactly.
The brothers are going at it.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon had the shortest amount
Jeff
of time
and Ward
on
Burton
pit
had a
road.
famous battle at Vegas that year.
He was 3 full seconds faster
and here they are
pit
again.
in to pit out than Dale Jarrett.
And about 2 seconds of that was coming into the pits. I was looking at DJ. He was following another car coming in, and I thought, man, get that thing slowed down. You're going to break the speed limit. But all of a sudden, Gordon comes in and picks up about 2 seconds on him coming into the pits.
And there are the Burton brothers now running nose to tail. Okay.
Almost down the last 40 laps.
Jeff goes to the high side and Ward on the bottom.
Yeah, you can't toss the fuel can back, exactly. How much that has changed. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We got 96 people in here. I wasn't sure how many on a Wednesday would be able to tune in, but I appreciate it for sure.
They're about 15 seconds behind the leader.
And there's no brotherly love there. Or they'd be running single file, trying to help each other to the front.
Well, there's one thing you have to remember. He takes his check to his house, and the other brother takes his check home with him. So, yeah, you go racing.
Notwithstanding the fact one's in a Ford, one's in a Pontiac.
Yeah. And, Mike, we've talked about drafting. It certainly
You just never really hear about manufacturer debates these days. I mean, with the spec car, I guess that makes it a challenge. But it's like, oh. And we start the first rumblings we had of any of that in a while seemed to be last year when the Fords were off to kind of a sluggish start with the dark horse there, and then of course that changed.
All the way around the racetrack. You'll watch the 98. He has one way of going by. His brother goes a little bit lower on the corner.
This is must-see nostalgia. Well, there you go. It is a great time capsule. Look at all these classic stopwatches. We've seen old computers and whatnot, the old uniforms. Old graphics packages. Oh, yeah, it's still fun.
Steve Parker left down. Steve running in the 8th position.
Yeah, he fought for a long time, but Jared just went up there and made a left-hand turn and went right by him as he's doing Wally Dolan back there.
Nonetheless, Steve Park is looking for a career best today. His first top 10 finish, that yellow #1 car owned by Dale and Teresa Earnhardt.
Led a good part of Charlotte. He has a great race car.
And Steve Park has Rusty Wallace has his hands full of Steve Park right behind him there, battling for that 7th and 8th position. They both just got lapped by Dale Jarrett. There they come into the picture. Rusty in the blue #2. A little different color.
Yeah, Kmart. There you go. Big Kmart branding for this race.
Yeah, they're side by side as they go by the start-finish line.
Now with the rain holding off here so far.
All this happening behind race leader Jarrett.
38 laps to go.
Back for the second time today.
There's that side-by-side battle you saw on the right of your screen. Here it comes again. Steve Park.
Yes, Tom, for sure. I thought about mentioning that at the beginning of the show, but yes, definitely thinking of everybody down the LA area there.
There might have been a little discussion up here in the between the
very harrowing news out there.
Yeah, there's no question.
Very similar to what we saw at Lahaina just not long ago.
Well, it is Father's Day next week, and hopefully John Burton can get the two of them together.
There's a lot of natural beauty in California, and unfortunately there's a lot of
John was a professional fighter at one time too.
You see the worst of it there too.
Boys and make them listen pretty well.
And he's a little guy like they are, so he's a fighter, huh?
Yeah.
But I tell you, he had to be a proud.
Yes, this would be the last year that Budweiser was a sponsor of the #25 car for Wally Dallenbach. Before Michael Hulligan took over, Dallenbach left to go to what would become the Darwin Ort Galaxy Motorsports team, formerly the Butch Mock team, in 2000.
Tony Stewart and Ernie Irvin.
And this is also just after Dale Jr. made his first Cup start. He made his debut in the Cup Series in the Coke 600, driving the Budweiser #8. Jarvis, not quite. GMAC came in there eventually with Brian Vickers after a while there, but 2000 would be the Michael Hulligan car. Very similar scheme though, both of them blue and white, so I could see it'd be very easy to confuse him.
Front corner's caved in, and it has to be lifting the front end as he goes in the corner.
I talked to Stewart's crew chief yesterday, Greg Zippadelli, like Stewart, a rookie on the Winston Cup Tour, and I asked him,
it's amazing to still be 10th with that damage in this race.
He says, Tony and I are like brothers. We like the same things, both on the track, away from the track. We have the same hobbies. We spend hours talking to each other. It's almost like one of us instinctively knows what the other one wants and what we can do together to get it. He says, plus, at Joe Gibbs Racing, the fellows who work in the shop on the 18 car also work on the 20 cars and vice versa. And there's an awful lot of interchange that goes on between those two teams. But for a rookie team to be 5th in the Winston Cup point standings, has about 35 other teams in the
yeah, it's too bad.
Let's look and see if they
too bad Kmart closed. Has anybody seen that? There was that link, I think somebody put it on Facebook or Twitter, where there was actually some classic music that was played at Kmart, like the Muzak in the background. Somebody actually archived it. I'll just share the link in the chat here, because I know I have it on here somewhere.
Buddy, when you were driving race cars, if you'd look down and seen that pack at 8600, you'd say the wheels are off the ground, they're spinning.
Yeah,
oh, Solid Snake, thank you so much for your super chat. My wife and I watched your Brickyard documentary the night before this year's 400. Got us hyped. It was also my first trip to IMS despite being a lifelong NASCAR fan and living in Cincinnati. Thank you so much for checking that out. I believe you're thinking of the NASCAR Man History one on the inaugural Brickyard '94. I very much enjoyed that one too. It was a very interesting script. You also see Jimmy Spencer going to the garage area, the first retiree of the race, be your last place finisher in this event. Oh, and Elliott's car has nuked the engine too. Oh man.
Broken oil line. They're trying to fix it and get him back
after such a strong run there, just running into the limit.
Coming down the back straightaway, just all of a sudden, and
still no caution.
Yeah, you can see right there a lot of smoke. As a matter of fact, there was a little bit of fire.
But yeah, Solid Snake again. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I'm so glad you enjoyed the Indianapolis video. There's so many rich storylines there, and the script the NASCAR man put together was really enjoyable on that too. So I'm glad they got you hyped there for the event.
So now there are only 5 cars on the lead lap. Elliott was on the lead lap.
I need to do Indy itself one of these days in person, so we'll see.
Saw what it was. Ernie Elliott working on it there in the blue shirt, the engine man, and they helped Bill out of the car. And almost immediately, he wanted to jump right back in.
Yeah, after they found out what was wrong, I guess.
He had a great run going today, Dick Berggren.
Well, he did want to jump right back in again, Mike, but the car is so filled with fumes, he was only there a few seconds and bailed back out again. This oil line is not a major line. It's one that goes from the valve cover into the engine itself. It's not a big deal, but they don't have the thing back together
Kmart radio.
again.
Oh, yeah, let me get that Kmart video. Yeah, where is
They're
that?
trying to fumigate the car. They're blowing fresh air in it, and he is going down lap after lap. What a disappointment after such a strong run today in the Kmart 400.
Yeah, it was the attention.
For the man who came in here.
I have to email this to myself and put it in the chat here. Oh, actually, I probably just put it in the video here. Hang on.
28 laps from the finish. Dale Jarrett has held court here at Michigan. Just
Can I put
about
this in my own chat? Can I do that? I've never even tried it before.
To within 4.5 seconds, as we pointed out, he gained a lot of that on the final green flag pit stop. We have not had a caution all day.
And Jeff Gordon had closed it down to about 3.9 seconds, about 5 laps
See if I can make this work.
But he got in some traffic that DJ had been in, so maybe that, caused the separation. They've been running anywhere from 4 to 4.5 seconds since they came out of the pits.
So here's Jarrett and looking for Jeff Gordon.
There he is.
I never think to do this when I'm doing the chat live, but there you go.
They are now 2 seconds apart, no longer nose to tail, but continue to be third and fourth. Jeff in third, Ward in fourth.
Pop up. Okay, good. It works.
Last week's winner at Dover is the 5th place car.
And Bobby is in no danger of going a lap down. He's 24 seconds behind the leader, but the leader's running a little over 40 seconds. So
yeah, no, that's a good archive there. Let me make sure that, that link's working there too.
1 lap down, Steve Park having a career day.
No, we don't want to do that.
Racing for the former
we don't
NASCAR
want to do that.
modified ace, Rusty Wallace in 7th. His teammate Jeremy Mayfield 8th, Ernie Urban 9th.
There we go.
And
that
Tony
works.
Stewart in 10th. Then John Andretti, Mark Martin, Kenny Irwin, Kenny Schrader, Dale Earnhardt, the top 15. Bill Elliott's back in the race. As we have a look at Steve Park.
How many laps down is Elliott? Let's see.
And here's our leader, Dale Jarrett. He's locked up
5 down. Wow.
For leading the most laps today.
I mean, decently quick repairs. Still doesn't put him last on the track there. Spencer out of the race. You got Presley with the laps down himself. Just a torrid pace.
And Ward Burton in 4th.
Yeah, if yellow comes out, I'm pretty sure you would have to pit at this point, especially for how long everybody's been running.
Ward Burton, number 22.
I mean, staying out, I mean, even if you just pitted, like, yeah, probably not.
In 5th place.
Kevin LePage in the 16 there, you can see the difference in the cars. It's all on the corner. The 2 cars run very similar down the straightaway, but when they hit the corner, the 88 car of Jarrett.
Just interests me how the sponsors changed on the 16. You had the Family Guy, the Family Channel come on in 94, and then the Prime Star branding kind of came in. It gradually kind of took over the scheme by 98, 99, and then the TV Guide thing started coming in 99, and then that kind of took over gradually. And then it was just like a hard reset in 2000 when they brought Northern Lights and later FamilyClick.com on there.
Whoa. He's got a lot of gear in that car. You see, he's not running 200 down the straightaway though.
Got a lower gear in it, which would kill that top end speed.
Yeah.
Lets him get off the corner a little bit better.
Down the back straightaway, they may not turn quite as much.
Not quite as much because you come off the turn 2 and it's a 5-degree back straightaway into almost a square corner going in the next corner. But coming off turns 4, you have a good run and a big dog leg through the front straightaway here.
This is a D-shaped racetrack, and so yeah, they just accelerate full all the way through this area here, and they're still accelerating to right along there. DJ will start backing out, then get down to the bottom of the racetrack, but they really carry a lot of speed into that turn.
Dale Jarrett's trying to hold a 4.3-second lead on Jeff Gordon. Let's go to the leader's pit. Ralph?
Well, Todd Barrett and his crew chief. Todd, you've had a bit of a tight race car all day today.
That would make sense, yeah. Prime Star being bought up.
Make it on fuel, no problem. The car's a little bit tight.
Just had to refresh the chat here in just a moment.
Seems like this racetrack gets more rubber on it. It just keeps getting a little tighter. 23 laps to go. Had an awesome car all day. The guys have done a great job, and just hopefully hold on this thing and stay out there.
Traditionally, with a tight race car, they don't get looser, they just get tighter on a longer run.
Yeah, just down the last 22 laps. And again, you have a race this long, just suddenly it's much closer to the finish, and it doesn't seem like that much harder to get that
nothing we can do. You know,
last stretch run.
Trying to keep searching for a new groove, a new line, and hopefully that he can find one that suits the car's style.
Mike, at this point, as Todd said, it's now into the hands of the driver.
Dale Jarrett came into this race 10th among the drivers who have
good catch, Charles. Yeah, they went for the Prime Star 500, Direct TV 500. I mean, that does make sense.
He has dominated today. CBS Sports coverage of the Kmart Michigan 400 continues after this message and a word from your local CBS station. 182
Well, it almost looked like a caution flag, but not quite. Just getting the lap traffic out of the way, which is steady work in this race.
Jeff and Ward Burton and Bobby Labonte. Somebody fan there looking skyward for help for his favorite driver, I think, because Dale Jarrett has been so tough to catch today. He will lead the most laps of this race. First time he's done that.
It does make sense.
Since Rockingham last
It's amazing how
October.
all these companies like
over 120 laps
colliding will change it there. Woody Woodpecker skiing.
Back to
Everybody
Jeff
likes that
Gordon,
one.
And it is shrinking. Watch for that bright orange nose number 24.
There we go. Get some good views of it.
9 seconds last time by.
Actually getting a fair amount of shots of the Woody Woodpecker car. I mean, for all these guys climbing through lap traffic all day.
A lot of the racetrack up, and right now he's letting it all hang out, and there's a lot of racing to go yet. This thing is not settled by any means.
Gordon is closing in. The question is.
I agree, John. Yeah, no, I think Ralph Shaheen is very, very underrated.
Well, he's trying everything he can. He's drafting every car he comes up on. He's using everybody out there as an advantage right now.
Nice.
Still a couple of lapped cars separate them on the racetrack.
On the 24.
Okay, so that was Todd Parrott. Said DJ ran a 40.90 and 40.85.
Yeah,
That's
trying
in
to
seconds
creep
for
up there
the 24,
closer.
So he gained 5/100ths of a second that time around. That shows up.
I mean, it's a drop in the bucket there. I mean, it's a
Dollback
progress,
is
but
Dale Earnhardt for position. They are 15th and 16th
not
place.
quite there yet.
16 LePage is not part of that battle, but you'll find Earnhardt right
I remember
Dallenbach.
we had like TCI cable in the mid 90s here on the West Coast,
and
then we had like the searchable menu, like the blue menu screen you kind of see on like some message boards and stuff. And then like TV Guide acquired the rights to that. I remember seeing like the TV Guide logo on there. And they're kind of transitioning from just having the magazines with the TV listings to kind of the integration into the cable system. And that was interesting. I mean, I remember TV Guides used to always be like right at the front of the line when you go to like a grocery store. They had like since they were like their own size, these much smaller magazines. It seems so strange to say this now, but it'd be like right where you would put your cart, there'd be this really narrow, tiny rack, and it would have the TV Guides, and everybody was buying them, everybody was using them.
There's Park having a career.
And then, yeah, gradually starting with them kind of integrating into the cable system, that just kind of went away. One of those things you just never think about becoming outdated.
3 wide, here we go.
There we go.
Had to back off before they get to the turn. Michael, maybe it should be you. No, it's LePage.
Well, he was not on the same lap as those other drivers, so wise move.
I remember, like, if you look at like a race from Sears Point, like 95, 96, on the 16 car, they had an onboard camera and it had TCI on there because there was some other thing with. It must have been a precursor to the Prime Star Direct TV deal. I'm trying to see which TV Guide logo is on the hood of that car. That gray logo on the hood of LePage's
Michael
car.
hasn't given up at all. He moves to the high side of the racetrack.
The star car, I see that on the
Well, Steve
inside
Park
graphic.
coming up cost Michael in his battle with Wally Dallenbach. He's dropped several car lengths back from Dallenbach and Earnhardt.
I remember they had the car come to Sears Point, it had the Taco Bell Chihuahua on it. That was great. That was a fun one. There was another race that had Pikachu on it. I don't remember which one.
Laps to go.
I think, I don't know if that was the Atlanta finale or maybe Homestead. There were a lot of cartoon schemes at Homestead that year because you had the NASCAR Racers one, you had the Iron Giant car that was with Melling, and you had this one too.
Yeah. The only thing I will point out is one little slip.
Yeah, TV Guides are fun. I remember, yeah, it was always enjoyable.
Sounds like a big lead, but one mistake.
You know, and you just pick up a new one. I think it was every week, right? It wasn't, or was it every month? I think it was every week.
There's the gap back to Gordon. And you can see he is closing.
And yeah, pretty thick thing.
Picked up 0.2 of a second. That lap.
But yeah, that purpose-designed rack. I mean, again, rack that right when you pull up there, it's like everybody's wondering, okay, do you have this week's TV guide? It's like, you know, it's right there.
And then the 28 car of Kenny
There's still a thing in the UK. I didn't know that.
Right at the moment,
Benjamin.
the 24
Wow.
Jeff Gordon would like that because he's using the draft off of the cars to really get down the straightaway.
Exactly. And there's nobody in front of Jarrett for a long way.
Dallenbach is pretty solid in this. 2 laps down 16th, Nadu 19th. Everybody's more or less where they were. They're just losing more laps as the leaders are tearing through it. Coming down the last 10 laps.
75 on the 24.
You know, again, not the greatest race.
Quarter of a second
And
that
yeah,
time.
it's strung out, but I mean, the commentary is keeping it engaging. It's not, I mean, it's not, you know, the kind of race you want to have every week, but again,
Yep, 2.9.
it's been fine.
Right now, and Gordon's doing everything he can to try to close up on Dale Jarrett.
It'll be 10 laps to go when they come back.
David Green and Rick Mast back on track after a final pit stop for a splash of gas. Some of these cars coming in now.
Yeah, the engine noise is great.
To make this a 3-stop race. Gordon has passed Kyle Petty. Now just 2 cars between he and the leader.
40-95.
Todd Parrott giving lap by lap counts where the 24 is at. And one thing he did say just a second ago, stay on top of that wheel. Don't relax. Do the right thing.
2.7 seconds first to second. Jeff Burton now 3 seconds ahead of his older brother Ward in that battle for 3rd place. Bobby Labonte also still on the lead lap.
Aaron Mayfield coming into the pits. He has been short pitting all day. He has not been able to run 50 laps. Rusty Wallace will probably be coming in for too long. He has not been able to do it either.
Plus 2.7.
Final pit stop for Mayfield.
Everybody was splash it goes at the final stretch run here. Didn't quite work out for Mayfield.
0.05 of a second to gain back time.
Gordon's still picking up, but Ned, he's got a long ways to go and a short time to do it.
Yeah.
Todd Parrott looking on. You know, the teams communicate in seconds per lap, not miles per hour, as you folks read in the papers.
Just so interesting. You had a lead group that broke away. It kind of got whittled down and shuffled during the cautions. And after that, Jarrett just kind of ran away with it.
Knows what you mean. Nobody in the grandstand probably would.
Yeah, that's true.
When you say 0.02 of a second, you don't have to give them that interval. They can see them in the mirror.
I like that, Billy. Yeah, 5 cars lead lap and 2 were brothers.
Just by going by the stop line.
40-85 on the 24.
Now the 24 has a couple of cars to deal with there. Now how much will they hold him up? How much time will that cost him?
2.5 seconds the distance. 8 laps to go.
Now this will cost him a little bit right here, Mike. When you come, even though he's making that pass pretty easy, buddy, but it still costs him some time.
Still 8th,
exactly
good
right.
solid
he
run for
go
him.
Out towards the wall and maximize his run off the corner there. Rich Bickle in the.
It seemed like on that Bickle car, they made the 45 a lot larger on the door. Like it became huge. I think it was like a decent size beginning of 99. And then they made it just massive. They just dominated the space on the side of that thing. And it was really interesting to see. And I think they had a purple version at one point.
And that could
like an
also
Indy,
play a factor. It could help
instead of that raspberry color. I like the raspberry color. Like, it's just so distinctive. You don't see that used. They picked exactly the right color to make the car stand out. Even if they're not having a great run like here.
Just in front of Gordon, that's a teammate for Dale Jarrett, Kenny Irwin.
There's the interval. It keeps shrinking.
Well, the last time
heartbreaker for Elliott. Elliott had such a nice run in this race, like really fast, just couldn't hold up.
Ray Evernham, crew chief and team leader for
Evernham always wearing the Ingersoll Rand hat.
Good work those spotters, Bob.
Those 2 know it. I don't know how much the 5 will help them.
Well, I see the 5 car, he said. That's Terry Labonte. That's Jeff Gordon's team.
Yeah, Power of New Forest. Yeah, that was a good looking car. I still partial to the 2000 Taurus, but again, the 98-99 one isn't bad.
When Todd says work those spotters, all the spotters are up in one stand, and Dale Jarrett's spotter.
And they had some good schemes. And again, a lot of them, like you said earlier in the stream, were very much refined in the 99 season to what you kind of see here.
Saying, hey, we're coming up. Can you get out of our way and give us a little help here?
Good sportsmanship.
Some years are like that, where it's like a kind of a transition. Like some teams kind of have the beginnings of a really cool paint scheme. They're like getting there, and then like the next year they really hit it. Like, you know, sometimes I think this is really good. The Benson one for Cheerios is definitely an example.
You're doing good. Nice and
I'd say even the Prime Star one for the 16 car.
2.4 seconds.
The orange and yellow one was like even better than the blue and yellow one. That Dayglow orange just always looks good. Always.
Jeff Gordon, and you can see him making a high line down the back straightaway. The pass is
The track that gave Dale
I did Frosted Flakes in this game, 97. 96, 97 are seasons. I didn't follow the sport as closely, so I don't remember those as clearly. Was that the same year that he ran like the Frankenstein car? I remember he did like a Monsters thing, I think at Charlotte once. It used to be Fall Charlotte and the August Michigan race. Used to have a lot of special paint schemes. That used to be like the season for it. And then it kind of got expanded into the 600 and some other races, and now it's kind of the norm.
And Robert Yates always gives him great horsepower.
Inside the final 5 laps.
The first
Gordon's doing a decent job, getting at least under 3 seconds. Now under 2.5.
Today,
he's going to be on the same straightaway. He'll be able to watch Jarrett take the checkered flag.
$100,000, and every one of the 43 drivers will take home more money than Cale did that day 30 years ago, which, Cale, if he's watching, I'm sure he's not thrilled about that. But that's how far this series has come. And this sport.
Come a long way since those days.
Nicole, 26, not terrible run, not
all right,
great.
Buddy, you're Dale Jarrett.
Terrible.
What are you thinking here with 3 laps to go, and it's gone all your way thus far?
He's aware right now that it's his race to lose. Right now, he's got to do the right thing, not make a mental error. And as well as the car is handling, although Gordon is chopping down his lead somewhat, he has to run the perfect lap and not let anything pressure.
He's coming, though. He's not giving up. He's not just saying, oh, well, yeah, not going to win this one. Like, no, he's coming.
Gordon has
he's got a teammate. No, that's, I thought that was Labonte, those masks.
Wallace battles along with the 28 for 11th place, Kenny Irwin. That is for position.
DJ made it close. Yeah, could be. Could be just taking his time.
Past the 98 of Rick Bass, which is the most interesting multicolored car since James Hilton brought a car to Pocono that was lime on one side and red on the other.
Yeah, and the next car in front of him, Mark Martin, just been off a little bit.
Rick Bass can get a lot of attention.
You can see Jarrett moving right up on him there.
Yeah, Mark
had kind of a crazy look for that time period.
When he had a lug nut that was left loose.
He's in 10th place. Dave Blaney makes a final pit stop, gets a push away. He may have run out of fuel trying to stretch it. And the rookie will get to finish this one. Only one car in the garage, that being Jimmy Spencer.
Jimmy Spencer gets your last place award for this one.
White flag.
White flag.
That's a lap mark. Martin again at the last lap.
Winner just ahead of this year's point leader.
Well, I tell you what, Gordon's really chopped it down. It's about a 15-car length lead right now.
1 second.
That's all. 1 second. It is about 15 car lengths, as Buddy says. There they are. Gordon sweeps into the back straightaway as finally.
Oh, wow, yeah. Definitely caught him. I don't know if Jarrett wanted him to catch that much.
Sniff the draft to the race leader.
Clear low.
Jarrett up high. Gordon right in his tire tracks on the high side.
Boy, he's closing in. I know Jarrett's taking it very carefully, but the 24 is just there. Right,
oh, wow. Big time. Closer than he's been the whole day.
Dale Jarrett wins the Kmart Michigan 400.
Yeah, that was a solid race. That was solid. That was, you know.
And that's an important win.
I remember it being pretty boring, but, you know, hey.
Detroit automaker brass are here in the VIP suites looking on. So this one will go to Ford. And to Robert Yates, driver Dale Jarrett. Jeff Gordon is second. Jeff Burton is in third. There is Burton, came in second in points. Will hold on to that spot with a third place finish today.
Yeah, they're like 5 more laps. I agree, yeah.
Is fourth and Bobby Labonte fifth. Those are the lead lap cars.
And Bobby Labonte was
is what it is.
Standings coming in, he'll hang on to that position. Jeff Gordon, we'll have to see how it all calculates out because he was sixth. He could move into the top 5. There will be a bonus for DJ winning here today. Winston puts up $10,000 per race if you're the leader in the point standings after the race.
Let's go down to the winner's pit. Ralph Shaheen.
Well, we're down here with the winning crew chief, Todd Parrott. Boy, it's been a while since you've really dominated one like that. Tell me about your emotions today.
A lot of them. You know, it's we haven't done this since '96.
Yeah, exactly. The race is
run that strong here.
Yeah, I mean, even the caution-free race, that was perfectly compelling.
You
know,
a total team effort.
It was still tricky for people to work their way around each other.
A team effort it takes to.
Great look at the Nadu car there.
This division, the guys in the fast
see these guys come from the garage.
Work night and day.
That's pretty cool.
For about a week. And it's a car we had at California. Wasn't very good. Went home, put a new dress on it, and came up here and ran awfully strong. I'd like to say hello to Tyler, wish him happy birthday, Debbie Chandler at home, and all the guys in the fab shop, and Granny Parrott. Granny Parrott, this is for you, baby.
I can tell you're a little choked up here today. Was this what you needed to get this championship, a win like this?
You know, it's just,
It's okay. It's all right.
It's what we needed. You know, these guys have worked so hard. You know, we're not going to give up, and that's what the T-shirt says.
Mike.
20th career win for Dale Jarrett, tying him with Speedy Thompson and Ricky Rudd for 26.
Good question, Andrew. Yeah, for no helmets on pit road. You'll see that in an upcoming 500 Days episode, because there was definitely a moment that occurred that led to that. In fact, pit road incidents have been a big issue. New track record for the fastest speed in there.
Average speed with pit stops 173.
Only one car of the race and no cautions.
Per hour. Only Jimmy Spencer ended the race in the garage.
Oh, you're welcome, Richard. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And here's the
we'll
man
wrap up
up
here. What we got?
About as perfect a race as you can do it.
We'll go do the post-race coverage here. We'll wrap up.
Number 88, Robert Yates. Ford Taurus. Could it have been any better than that, Dale?
Probably the best race car I've ever driven. Thank Todd Parrott and this entire crew. They told me they were bringing me a real horse this weekend, and they did. I want to thank Ford Motor Company, Ford Quality Care, Ford Credit. You know, we usually don't go through all the sponsors. This is such a good car. We got to thank Coca-Cola, Fleetwood RVs, Quality Care Parts, everybody, Motorcraft Parts. This is just awesome. Texaco.
Dale Jarrett still with the mustache.
This was just a great day for us. We needed this. You know, we've struggled along the way, even though we were leading the points. Didn't struggle today.
Not one bit, and no cautions. Second time in history of this race.
Yeah, I was sitting there praying for no cautions, as good as the car was. Plus, I knew that Jeff got his car better. He was catching me. Looked like it got a little cooler and the track got more rubber. My car got tighter. We adjusted it some, but we didn't want to go too far with it.
Did you have any more for him at the end if you needed it?
No, I was going pretty hard there. My car just picked up a real push there, and I was glad that we didn't have any more time.
Record holder at Michigan at 174 miles an hour. Dale Jarrett, congratulations. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, a couple of weeks ago when Jeff Gordon was having trouble finishing races, well, you said, gee, we got to get top fives. This is
I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary on the play.
Well, I'm not real thrilled about the type of second that we brought home tonight or today, but I'm happy that we finished. And you know, when you go back a few weeks ago, and I would have taken this in a heartbeat. But you know, there's just a certain thing about about going out there and being fast and being competitive, and maybe getting beat on fuel mileage. It just kills me when we're out there just getting slam beat. I mean, every single lap from the time you pull off pit road to the time you pull back to pit road to get tires. You know, the 88 and Dale Jarrett and all those guys, they did a heck of a job. They had us beat. We're happy to bring home the DuPont Chevrolet in second, get some points, get some momentum, you know, and hopefully make some gains on them. But pretty boring day for me today, actually.
You had a great look at that number 88 car. Where was he strongest, Jeff?
I did.
There you go.
I couldn't see him. I don't know. I mean, I saw him when he was letting off there at the end to make it look good. Dale Jarrett's really, really good at a lot of things, and driving the race car is one of them. But he would just roll and cut the middle so good. When he did get by me early in the race, when we were having fun at the beginning of the race. It was exciting at that point. And
yeah, I got a really good stack up at the start. I mean, that battle at the beginning was nice.
On the gas and go, and that's what you need everywhere you go.
Good run today, bud. Second place for Jeff Gordon. To Mike Joy.
There can only be one winner, but you've got to admire a fellow who hates to lose as much as Jeff Gordon does. We'll talk to lots more drivers when we come back to Michigan after this.
Looks like we just got a couple more minutes if you want to stay tuned here. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast tonight. We'll be doing at least one more live stream here, watch along before the off-season wraps up here. We'll have more information on that pretty soon.
So we're always disappointed when we get beat that bad. But,
yeah, beautiful quality on the video.
Those two guys had a great car, and they just did a better job. It seemed to me the best car won, and that's okay.
What was the car doing to you out there?
Well, we had it doing a lot of different things. It took off. It was a little too tight. Then the next run, when they really got away from me, it was way too tight. And that's when they really got away. And then we about broke even with them the rest of the day. But I didn't get on pit road a couple times very well, and we took off. We were way too tight on the second run, and those two things added up to, you know, a 11-second lead, and that's pretty much where they stayed the rest of the day.
But the top three, you're in it for keeps on this points race.
Well, we hope so. We're smart enough to know that we've got to finish in the top five.
Seriously, when you have a race wrap up that quickly, you got so much more time to interview drivers afterwards.
And we hope to be a little bit better next week than we were this week.
Talk to your brother at all about running together today?
I hadn't seen him yet, but that's a lot of fun. You know, Ward and I are pretty competitive people. I know he's mad because he finished fourth and I finished third, but it'll be opposite next week.
Let's get his brother's side of the story. Ralph is with him right
Oh boy,
now.
Ward Burton interview time.
Thank you, Bill. Now, Ward, your brother says he knows you're probably mad because he finished in front of you. Are you?
No, I'm pretty happy about my Caterpillar team. They've worked really hard, and it's been a while since we had another top 5. So, you know, we're knocking on the door and getting consistent, getting a little bit better every week.
You and your crew chief, Tommy Baldwin, have even been running some bush races together, really working on developing the communication between the two of you. How is that, and how's it coming?
It's good. Tommy, he never gives up. You know, as long as I'm complaining, he's changing, and he knows when he gets the car right, we'll go fast. And I know that he's one of the most capable guys in the business. The good thing is, you know, we've got a lot to learn together, but I like to say I know Eddie and Shelby and Justin are watching at home. Tried to win this for Kevin, but we'll get it next time.
All right, Ward, you can tell it's a very emotional day for Ward Burton, as we talked about earlier today, Ken Squire.
The key man of Robert Yates.
He was laughing because he had the guy in the background there was just having a great time there.
Massive awesome today.
Always cool to hear from Ward Burton.
There's nothing better than coming to Motor City and taking this Ford Taurus and making it run like the Taurus instead of maybe the Turtle like it looked like earlier in the year where it couldn't lead laps. It's just nothing better than to come here because we deal with so many people here in Motor City and Ford and Quality Care and Ford Credit. Thanks for this opportunity to come up here and kick their butt.
Well, listen, Motor City's history. What we want to know about is Saturday night, July the 3rd, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Well, I think we have as good a plans as we have going there as we came here with, so I hope it works out the same.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. Biggest incident of the day. The big incident, pace car. Someone locked the keys in it. They had to get a wrecker and haul that back and bring out an alternative.
Oh, there we go. Somebody mentioned that before there.
Entire ointment this afternoon.
42 of 43 cars finished the race, 5 of them on the lead lap.
You can see the teams load up, man. That's really clicking right through it.
Kmart, Michigan, 400 today at Michigan Speedway.
Looks like that will do it there for today. So, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. That was the 1999 Kmart 400 won by Dale Jarrett, and in dominant fashion. Everybody else just kind of catching up there at the end of the day there. And Jarrett would go on to win the Winston Cup Championship at the end of the year, clinching it at Homestead before the season finale there, with Ned Jarrett there and everybody else celebrating, and the Robert Yates team. Yates finally walking away with a long-awaited first championship as a team owner. And that was all a story for another day there as well. But yeah, the caution-free race, I believe that is still the record in Michigan. I don't certainly remember any other caution-free races in Michigan after 1999. But beating a record from 1996 is set by Rusty Wallace. And yeah, Jimmy Spencer, your last place finisher, the only driver that fell out of the race, although there was an oil leak from Bill Elliott that also did not bring out the caution flag. So kind of interesting to see how the change is. And I would have to say, based on watching it, yeah, solid race from beginning to end. Yes, the first 50 laps, I would say, are probably the most entertaining in terms of side-to-side racing. But yeah, there's some moments there, and the broadcast does a great job featuring it. Whether it's the pit strategy that's coming up, or it's a simple two-car battle between Ernie Irvan and John Andretti at one point. The nice feature on Harry Melling, tributes you see to both on Bill Elliott's car and Jerry Nadeau's car. There was also a mention there after the race there, other drivers just going through various things at the time there. Ward Burton as well, dealing with things at the time there too. So a lot of emphasis on the human aspect of it too, which is nice for them to feature there at the same time. And also really just kind of quirky things too, like Ernie Irvan's dog being on this featured on the side of the 36 car in the race that started on the outside pole at the same time. So yeah, kind of an interesting look through the field there. So I have to say, as much as I remembered this race as just being boring and just kind of unplugging from it, that probably is just more commentary on just, the other exciting things that did happen that year. John Andretti coming back from spinning out to lead in the last 4 laps at Martinsville, or Gordon's 500 win, or the crazy races at Daytona and Talladega that happened later in that season. That could all be a part of it too. But another interesting year, and we have another interesting year coming up for us, don't we, with 2025 and the clash at Bowman Gray starting off the year, Daytona 500 a couple weeks later, and we're not too far from there. So the plan is our next live stream is going to be sometime before the 500. We may do one maybe Super Bowl weekend, maybe, I'm kind of thinking. Do another watch along. Those of you in the Patreon at patreon.com/lastcaronbrock, you will get more information on that, as well as always more information on other produced videos on this channel. So look forward to more of that coming up here. In the meantime, my Twitter feed is at lastcaronbrock. The website is lastcar.info. New articles coming up by the end of this month, including the preview article for the Clash at Bowman Gray, and we will have all that for you as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be having more here in the near future, and until then, I'll see you all next time.